Hello and welcome to the Salt City Gamescast. This is episode 164. This is also the 2025 Christmas special. We're just a little late. Shit happened. Jared Elm sitting across from me. How? I would say, well, I guess I haven't seen you in a while, but we've been playing a lot. So I actually have been talking quite a bit, but it's been what, a month? Over a month?
Good to see you, Nick. Let's see if we still know how to do this. Yeah, it is currently the 17th of January, so we are a bit late.
Yeah. Shit happened. We scheduled a break around the holidays, and then I had just a kind of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bunch of just my wife's aunt passed away. So then we were scheduling to go to Texas, and she just gone to Texas, and then came home, and my whole family got sick for like 2 weeks over the holidays, and that was a big bummer. And just like had a lot of shit that just kept piling on. And then I was texting you like the day we were supposed to record. I'm like, nah, I don't think that'll be a good one. I don't think I'm ready to record it. But we've gotten through all that shit, and I'm feeling pretty good. And we have if you don't watch the video normally, you should maybe just like take a quick gander. There's a lot of whiskey on this table.
Yeah, not the first time. Won't be the last time.
This is just what we've been collecting over the holidays. I have been traveling a little bit, so I got some stuff. I think you went, is this all Reno stuff?
Yes. Yep. Nevada bottles that I got on my trip to see my parents. But yeah, a little aside here. I think like what perfectly encapsulates what you went through, you posted a photo of your son. I believe it was you, might have been your wife, but I'm pretty sure it was you. And he just had the gnarliest boogers like
oh my God,
coming out of his face. And I was just like, damn, Nick is fucking going through it. And like for a long period of time, and I think still to this, more to the point, still, like you were just like, I don't know how I'm not sick because your whole family was sick.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. It's happened before. I did get sick a year ago, and I think they didn't necessarily get sick that time, but I got pretty sick a year ago. But more often than not, I just kind of marinate in it. And for some reason, it must be from my dad, because he really does not ever get sick. It just doesn't stick. And it doesn't make any sense, because like these people, like, boy, no one's covering their mouth. It's just, this shit's just like going directly down the hatch.
Right.
And how it doesn't get me, I don't know. And COVID's the same way. I sat around my wife and my daughter when they had COVID, and to my knowledge, I've never gotten it. I've scratched my brain so many fucking times and never gotten it, which is like super fortunate. I don't know. I think I was telling you, I don't know if it was this sickness or a different one, but I was like, it kind of bums me out because sometimes I just want to be able to lay around and be like, I'm sick. But then when you're actually sick, it's not actually what you want, but grass is greener on the other side, and it's usually not better where the sick people are.
Yeah, no, I'm never like, I want to get sick. I mean, since I was like a kid, obviously, like sometimes it's like Pokemon Stadium just came out. Definitely wouldn't mind getting sick right now.
And school sucks.
Yeah, but yeah, as an adult, I'm like, nah, don't want to do that. So, but better late than never, man. And we're here, and we're going to talk about the best games of 2025.
We sure are.
In 2026.
The nice part is I was able to kind of really round out this list because I've been playing anything new, and I was able to finish some things that I'm really glad I did. So I feel pretty good about it. We have 10 games each. We'll have some overlap. I think last time what we did is we'll just punt it. If we have a duplicate, if say my 10th game is your 6th game, then you'll just say we'll push that, and then we'll just go to the next one and go to it. But maybe we'll start out. You'd brought it up. It's like, look, it's maybe not a game of the year, or maybe not game of the year eligible, but maybe we have some what fucking word did you use? Honorable mention. Yes, yeah. That is the category. What is your honorable mention?
Path of Exile 2.
Yeah, it's like a no-brainer. You fucking love that thing.
Yeah, I put like over 100 hours into early access, which is pretty unheard of for me. But yeah, really enjoyed it. Had a lot of fun with what was there, and like a good amount of content at release when that thing first came out. I played that way back in February. I went and looked. But yeah, I was just super into it when I played it, and Yeah, really excited for full release. They just released a new character like a month ago
Mhm.
that has been doing pretty well. It's a druid, so not
Mm.
like super surprising. I went and created a druid just to kind of get a feel for it, and it seems really fucking cool. And so yeah, really excited for full release this year in
Supposed to be?
2026.
Is that
Pretty
the
sure it's like I mean, things change obviously, but
sure.
I mean, with the amount of content that they already had in the game during the initial release of early access, plus whatever they've added since then, which I have read is pretty sizable amount. Yeah, I think it's in a really good spot.
Maybe a nice summer release?
Yeah,
Some
something like that would be really cool. I think that, you know, the end game, while needed a lot of improvements, I think the foundation of it is really compelling and interesting
Mhm.
and like infinitely replayable.
Hmm.
And just really satisfying. Big fan of that thing. And I am very much looking forward to putting another 100, 200 hours into the full release. And
You mean you left out the best thing it did, and
what's that?
it chased Elon Musk out of streaming
That's true.
because he was exposed
Yeah, for being
as
a
a
fraud.
fraud. For
Yeah.
those who weren't already,
Yeah.
if you didn't already
No,
understand
that he
what
was a
he
fraud?
is,
Yes.
but he was exposed, and if he's been streaming, I've been missing it because I haven't heard any bullshit about him talking about games for a while since he got
Yeah.
ran out of there.
Yeah, I mean, that was just hilarious at the time.
Fucking,
He was just so clearly didn't understand how the game worked. I mean, he was like dragging items after like off of the ground and dragging them into his inventory, like shit that you just do not do if you play it for any amount of time.
seems like he'd done enough drugs to think that he could stream
Yeah.
and convince people he was good.
Ketamine is a hell of a drug,
Jesus.
but that thing is gonna, I think, obviously play Diablo 4 and then Grim Dawn I thought was fantastic.
Mm.
I would go out on a limb and say that if they continue to improve upon it where I played it at, it's gonna be hard to beat it in terms of like all-time ARPGs. I think it's that fucking good. And I can't wait for you to try it out because
I like those types of
once
games.
you wrap your mind around the very complex kind of building and the way that that all functions, once you understand that, the floodgates kind of open. So yeah, that's my honorable mention.
Awesome. Before I jump into mine, we're drinking at Bardstown. What this isn't Discovery? Is it a
Yeah, it's
Discovery
a
series?
Discovery series. Yeah, yeah, Bardstown Bourbon Company. Or no, sorry, it's an Origin series, not a Discovery.
It's got a
Uh,
pretty unique finish.
it's a wheat. It's a wheater.
Mhm.
So it's like a sweeter wheat. Bardstown's really cool because they give you like all of the specifics, the mash bill.
Yeah, it's cool.
So it's 53% corn, 39% wheat, and then 8% malted barley. 6 years old and coming in at 106 proof or 53% ABV. So a little bit hotter.
I've liked everyone I've had. I've had at least 3. I know I've had at least 2 from you, and then I bought one originally that we tried, and so I believe I've had 3.
I
Unless
got you
had
that
another
one. That one up there, I bought you.
Really? You
Yeah.
gave it to me,
Yes.
and then fascinating.
Yes.
Are you sure?
Positive.
100%.
100%. I remember buying that bottle for you. And I was really bummed because that's the thing with Bardstown. They are really experimental and they do all sorts of different finishes and different kinds of whiskey. And I have had a couple that I don't love. But that one up there is fucking fantastic. And I remember being like really pissed off because
Yeah.
I bought another Bardstown. I gave you that one. And then I got another one,
this one
and
more.
it's not nearly as good as that one.
This was this one of you were traveling, and I said you've got a budget of this much. Surprise me.
I don't know, but I do
Maybe.
vividly
But-
remember getting you that bottle. But at any rate, yeah, Bardstown's hit or miss, I would say. But because they're producing so many different like one-off limited releases or small batch engagement products, that's kind of their thing. Like I don't know if they have like just a
regular
standalone, like you just go to a liquor store and this is always there. They're just constantly like releasing different kinds of bourbon. So they're interesting from that perspective. And so, yeah, I like this one. I like Weeders. So
is Booker's kind of like that because they do the 4 every year, right?
Yeah. Booker's is similar to that, but they're a lot more kind of restrained.
Maybe the bill doesn't change nearly as much.
Exactly. Bardstown is just like they're pretty much like bourbon scientists, and they just take a bunch of different shit, they mix it together, and to differing results and quality, I would say. But if you can find like, and most of the people that are fans of Bardstown, they'll be like, in a given year, they'll be like, these are like the 3 or 5 bottles that you need to seek out. And then those become impossible to find because those are the best bar towns. And then everything else is just kind of like, fine, it's whatever. But
I saw some at the Total Wine, which that's the second time I've gone to a Total Wine. I went to one in Texas, and God damn it, it's just it's not about the rare shit. It's just about the shit that there's still stuff you can't find. It's not that it's rare. It's just like their selection's so big. You're just like, well, I want to slowly pick through some of these things. It's a little frustrating, but
the sheer quantity is overwhelming.
And the fact that you walk down the aisle and there's just a table and they're like, you want to try anything? And you're just like, what is happening?
You got to be really careful with that. That would be my only criticism, is there's a large swath of products that only Total Wine sells. So it's basically like the Costco brand. And their salespeople are commission based, and so like when you walk down the aisles, you'd be like, "This is Greg's favorite whiskey," and it's some bullshit that you can only get there because they get kickbacks on the bottles that they sell. So if you talk to those people, like oftentimes they'll be like, before I knew this, I'd go in and I'd be like, I'm looking for this. And they'd be like, yeah, that's really good. And we have some of it, but also we've got this thing over here. And it really doesn't work on me. But when my ex, she would go there, you know, if I wasn't there, and they
recommended it.
They would fucking bamboozle her, and then I'd get like shitty whiskey because of that.
Luckily there's so much stuff. I was Googling each one quite a bit, and I came across, I can't recall the name of the one I saw, but I was looking at one, and then it was like, well, this is a staple. And I was like, get out here, Malto Meal. What are we fucking doing?
Yeah. That's not to say that like it's all bad.
Sure.
There is like a wine cask finish that I got just randomly because my girlfriend, they like sold my girlfriend on it.
Sure.
And if you compare it to the Prisoner's Share from High West, which was like this wine cask finish whiskey, I think it blows that out of the water. So it's not all bad, you know, but a lot of it is bad.
I suspect this is going to be a long one today.
Probably.
Everyone buckle up. We got a lot to go through. I didn't really have an honorable mention when you first brought it up. I was like, man, I don't really, because I played a lot of stuff that came out this year. I did not really dip my toe into. That's a lot that wouldn't apply to the Game of the Year. But then I realized what it was, and it was crystal clear. It's Stardew Valley. It's like, because I played with my family. Like, we set it up. Mm-hmm. We tried to play, and the original Switch, you cannot play 3-player on split screen. Mm-hmm. I think they just updated for the Switch 2, and you can now. But I ran it from the PC on the big fucking TV, and it is a very good time, and it is very funny, especially because my family's terrible to me. So, like, my daughter gets scared in mines, so it's just like, Dad goes to the mines every day. All I do, they're out there in the sun, going to town, getting sodas with like Marie, and I'm just like down in the mines, and I come home at the end of the day, and it's a very funny through line story that we have, and it is a lot of fun, and my wife really likes that game, so it's been gone really well.
That's like the only game that I can think of that your wife like got into in any like significant way.
Yep, I think that is she played the Pokemon on the phone. The thing that everyone
Pokemon
did.
Go.
Yeah. Because everyone did that for a bit.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's definitely that. And, you know, that guy will release another game in like 5 years.
He's been working on it for a while.
That Chocolate Factory thing. But I just think he's not going to release it till
that dude is fascinating. Schreier, I can't remember what book Schreier like went into detail about his, maybe it was Blood, Sweat, and Pixels.
Probably because it wasn't the most recent one.
Yeah.
Well, obviously
the most recent one was about Blizzard. But yeah, no, just the level of commitment that dude has to Stardew Valley, and he just seems like a great guy and just super hardworking, like insanely hardworking. And so, yeah, it's not really surprising that game has found as much success as it's had. So I'm sure the next thing he puts out is just going to immediately skyrocket. You know,
that shit's crazy to have. I mean, to make something like that and then just be like, you can now do whatever you want for the rest of your life, and you can just make a game for 10 years if you want.
Yeah,
whatever. Same with like Team Cherry. Basically, they're just like whatever the
Yeah.
fuck we want to do.
It's like I love that he is just like, you know what sucks? Harvest Moon. You know what I love? Harvest Moon.
I'm
So
gonna
you know what I'm
fucking
gonna do? I'm gonna
make it
make a
way
Harvest
better.
Moon that's good. And that's how we got Stardew Valley
Yeah,
pretty much.
here we fucking are. Game's fun. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Tell me. Let's jump right into it. Number 10. What's your
Number 10
what's the 10th best game of the year, Jared?
for me in 2025, it was Doom: The Dark Ages.
Oh my god. That didn't come out this year.
It
Really?
did. It
Seriously?
did. Yes. Pretty early on in the year. But had a really good time with Doom: The Dark Ages, dude. I thought that I was very worried about the fact that the formula had kind of gone stale, and I was not a fan of the second game and like this revitalization
Sure.
of Doom. And they kind of flipped it on its head. And while I didn't love everything in Doom: The Dark Ages, I did really appreciate the kind of the switch to more melee focused, slower combat, which in theory, like on paper, if you said, we're going to slow down Doom. And that's what I like about Doom is how fast paced and arcadey it is. But they towed a fine line and made it fantastic from a combat perspective. I thought that the levels were mostly pretty good, aside from dragon riding bullshit that is in that game, which I think it serves no purpose and was just like lame. But outside of that, I thought that the weapon setup, all the weapons that you got in the game were fantastic. And I did overall like the setting going back in time to the Dark Ages and this like more primitive Doom Slayer. It was
sure.
cool. It was cool.
There were a lot of questions around it after the second one.
Right.
Which I forget the name of the second one.
I don't know. I don't remember either.
I didn't play it, but I just remember that you guys have major complaints about very specific enemies that ruined the game, basically, or made it really.
Marauder was the name of the enemy.
Took the fun out of it. So going into it, I was like, I don't know, and then it's nice to see that they turned it around. I wonder where Doom goes next.
I don't know, and like that's also my concern with the series long term is. It really shouldn't be a big deal if they can continue to like come up with interesting ideas like they did with the Dark Ages for future releases. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. You need to keep the formula fairly similar. But if you can add some interesting nuances to the gameplay, they should be okay. And I think at this point in time, they've proved that they can do that. But I will be not super stoked if it's just like a continuation of this same thing. You got to come up with some new ideas, and probably going to be quite a while before we see another Doom. But
probably.
But I thought it was really good, and that's why it's number 10. What's your number 10?
I was just looking at my list, and it's there's a lot of variety.
I saw you erased it and then put something else in.
I changed it.
Okay.
At the last second.
All right.
Because like I put Dispatch at number 10, which is like only kind of a game, but it still is a game.
Okay.
Because it's but it's I think it's the best like show that came out. Well, I don't watch shows, but like it just was a really good story front to back that like made sense and was a pretty cool superhero thing. I ended up finishing it. I'll say that the I didn't really know how much impact your decisions were making, and it felt like it could turn over a new leaf, and I would say it does not at the end. Once you look at the whole picture and Google everything, it still is really funneling you into like 3 or 4 different things. I do appreciate that your dog gets endangered right at the end, and you have to make some fucking hard decisions, right? But no matter what decision you make, like save the dog. Don't try to save the dog. The dog doesn't die. There's no way for the dog to die, and that puts it at number 10 on the list automatically, because it was a big win. No, but I would be very interested to see like whatever those guys go and make again. I'll be like, yeah, I would. Yep, I'll play another one of those just because it was pretty cool and is like earned their mature rating, which was kind of refreshing after playing some of like when I've played these games, it's been like Life is Strange and the Walking Dead one, which The Walking Dead was certainly mature, but not in the way that this showed dicks and boobs and sex and just terrible jokes and there's a dude who's fights and all he does is run around and punch people in the dick, and it's pretty funny
Gotcha.
because that's his whole deal.
Okay.
And
He's a dick puncher.
He is.
All
He's
right.
literally that's like his skill.
Cool.
And it's a nice short game, a few hours long. Well, 4 hours probably to get through it.
Okay.
It's a good game.
Speaking of TV shows, the best one in 2025 that I highly recommend that you watch is Pluribus. Go watch it immediately now. Go.
Okay.
You and your wife will enjoy it.
Really?
It's fucking fantastic.
All right.
High recommend. High recommend.
Best song of the year is from K-pop Demon Hunters. So
okay. Sure.
That's all we listen to. That's all we listen to in our house. Unfortunately, they found a new version of it, and my wife and my daughter love the new version of Golden, and it's just a cat meowing it, and it's pretty fucking funny. And then I'm like, oh, that's all we listen to now. Oh no. All
right. I was gonna say, I mean, the Deftones put out a new album that's pretty goddamn good, but sure, K-pop Demon Hunters. Yeah.
So what is your number 9?
Number 9. I gotta look. Hold on. My number 9 game is The Outer Worlds 2, which is fairly recent. I just really enjoyed this experience. I thought, when we talked about it initially, it's just kind of how you do a sequel. I still stand by that. They made everything bigger and better for the second outing for the series, while retaining all the things that made the first game good, right? The only reason why it's not higher on my list is I did finish it, and I think it loses steam from a story perspective towards the end. Some of those decisions, those consequential decisions, while they are there, it did not really pan out in the way that I wanted it to. And that could be some of the decisions that I made. It was kind of like a wash towards the end of it. But yeah, like the last like portion of the game just wasn't fantastic to me. But I did really, really enjoy the game overall. And I think that especially in a year where Obsidian releases 2 different games, one that's not even close to being on my list, and this one making the top 10 of the year for me. You got to give them credit. Like, I'm hoping that they can continue on with this series. I think it did well. I mean, it reviewed pretty well, and I think people enjoyed it more or less. So,
did it go to PlayStation day one?
I don't know.
I can't keep track of which ones do and don't, because Avowed did not. Right. And now it has a new update, which is an interesting strategy that they've done a few times, where they kind of fix the game and then they have a good update, and then obviously it goes to all platforms, but then they use that as an excuse to launch it on PS5, because Avowed is, I think, coming out now or February or something. They just came out and said something about
Gotcha. It. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of messy. Like, just release them all at the same fucking time.
At this point, that's probably...
I mean, you're not predating your sales, like, because the vast majority of people are playing that shit on Game Pass. Well, maybe not anymore with the price increases this year.
No, I need to go fucking cancel that.
Yeah. So, yeah, but I still think that it's a great game. And, I put 80, 90 hours into it. So a really good time. And overall, I think the writing is great and the characters are really good. That's another thing that's kind of more of a criticism, is like, and this is mostly the way these kind of games shake out, like some of the character stories just don't really go anywhere. Like, if you're playing like the side activities to flesh out their stories, some of them are just kind of lame, and there isn't like big, shifting situations that change things up in terms of like their demeanor towards you in any like consequential way.
And then for like a long time, like, we're still waiting for something to do that really well. It's like, look, this happened in the middle of the game, and there was a big branch, and it was drastically different for hours, and not just the last hour of the game.
Well, it's crazy to think about it. It's like Casey Hudson fucking did that shit like 20 years ago. Yep. You know what I mean? And we still really haven't seen it.
Figured out how to like...
Yeah. I don't know why.
You can't play Anthem anymore, FYI.
I heard.
Womp womp.
Yeah. I watched the Nextlander guys go back and play it, and I was like...
Oh, they went back and played it?
Before the server shut down. And I still stand by the flying in that game was fucking incredible. Yeah. I mean, that game's gorgeous too. I mean, it is beautiful. But why BioWare? Why was BioWare making that game? Makes no fucking sense.
Too bad.
Rest in peace, Anthem.
Too bad. My number 9. I have a few here at the beginning of this list, which is tough, and it's kind of because of my the kind of game I like are long games, and my life doesn't give me enough time to finish all these games. So some of these I have not finished, but this is Xenoblade X. Uh, I had played a really good amount of it on the Wii U originally, up
Yeah.
until you get the mech, which is like 40 hours in or something like that.
Enormous time investment before you get a mech.
Kind of a shocking amount. Like it's kind of like bold because like a mech's on the cover, but the game is a lot of fun pre-mech. Like there is a lot of fun to be had before that, and I really enjoyed it. And then I was really hoping because the fucking thing came out like a month before the Switch 2 or something like that,
Yeah, like
and
close to it. Yeah.
it does not the resolution on all of the Xenoblades going into a Switch are fucked. Like it's not right, and it makes them look funny, and they have not patched them, and we're over here twiddling our fingers like, what are we doing? Like all of them could be here running well, and it has not happened yet. So I'm a little frustrated about that, but I love these games. Like they are games that I will go back to, and being able to have this many when they presumably finally fix all these on the Switch 2 is like awesome. Fucking yeah, absolutely. And that one, the story's a little more less guided than the other Xenoblade games, but I think it was just still the fun was there. The loop of running around those gorgeous open worlds is it's a good time.
Extraordinary amount of fun. I finished this game.
Yep.
And I put over 100 hours into it. And yeah, the story is dog shit in this game, in my opinion, specifically towards the end, where it just kind of goes off the fucking rails completely. But what I will say is, the further you get into mech customization and things like that, it gets really compelling. A lot of the mechs. The cooler mechs you really don't get access to until you're deep, 60, 70 hours into the game. And some of them are fucking insane and can do really, really cool things. I'm looking at you, jet mech, that you just get a fucking jet. You can just fly around the entire map.
Plane.
Well, yeah, you're just a plane and a transformer, basically. And there's like a level of frustration until you get it. You're like, how do I get up to this fucking point? And it's like, I wish that it would just be like, you're going to get a jet
later.
And now you'll be able to get up into these islands in the sky with your jet that you get.
After you failed with all your other mechs trying to get there.
Exactly. But yeah, no, I think that the loop, you're right. The loop is there for that thing. I thought about it, but I just didn't feel, just because it like came out on the Wii U and this is just more of like a facelift for the game. I just didn't. Sure. And also, like, I don't know with the other games on the list if I would put it above some of those, but I think it's good. I think it's pretty fun.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty fun game. What is your number 8?
My number 8 is Monster Hunter Wilds, which probably is controversial for people that have listened to this for a long period of time, because I think Monster Hunters have been like my game of the year.
Pretty low for you. We did a games of the years and we had multiple Monster Hunters, I think, in like the top 5 or top, like.
Yeah. So, obviously this is a fantastic game. I think it's really good, but I think across the board, and maybe only thing that you could say this is like the best of the best when it comes to the series is like visual fidelity. Outside of that, I think that every other aspect of the game has been done better in previous entries. And so that's the reason why it's as low as it is for me.
That's the one I deleted.
Yeah.
Off of my number 10.
Yeah. I mean, it's still a fantastic game and we had a lot of fun with it. The fights here, I think the new monsters for the most part are really great. And that loop is still here where you can just have a lot of fun with your friends fighting monsters. And, definitely put a lot of time into this game this year. But there was just certain things about it where I didn't love the way that certain mechanics were implemented. And then on top of that, again, I just look at like crafting system. Is it good here? Sure, it's all right with like the Artian weapons, and that's like kind of your end game loop in this game. And it's fun enough, but then I'm like, but is it better than Monster Hunter World or any of the other Monster Hunters? And I couldn't bring myself to say yes, it is.
That's the problem.
Yeah,
like when I look at this, and I'm pretty worried about Monster Hunter like going forward, because I'm just like, what? we're not iterating enough, and you're not even, because I believe they have multiple teams. You're not even taking the wins from the previous ones and guaranteeing that they're going to come into this one, and that for me is super frustrating. Where I'm just like, you're right, this loop is really good, but if they can't, it can't just be the same loop. And like, if they like they're going to probably announce DLC this
Not
year.
probably.
Like,
There will be an expansion in 2026.
I just don't know if I'm. I don't know. I don't know if I'm like chomping at the bit for it.
I am. I mean, Monster Hunter is Monster Hunter, and like don't get it twisted. It might be number 8 on my list. This game is one of the best games of the year. It's the best selling Monster Hunter of all time, which seems like every single fucking time they put out a Monster Hunter, it just beats the previous one. It was World, then it was Rise, and now it's this.
If it was your first Monster Hunter, it could be your favorite game of the year.
100%.
Easy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's true. My issue is it's just not my first. And I'm like, I got an issue. I have a problem with what you guys are doing over here.
Yeah. With you, though, specifically, like, you got to give it some credit for fixing the fucking horn. The horn is better than in Rise, which I know you didn't enjoy.
And that was my problem with Rise, because I think a lot of people were really high on Rise, and we had
huge
fan of a lot of fun with that as well. But the horn just wasn't as complex, and then they brought that back and they made it a lot more fun to dive into. The issue was the weapons. The
Artian weapons.
The Artian weapons really forced you in down a path, and with the horn, switching weapons is a huge deal because of the buffs.
Yeah.
So then, like, they pigeonhole you at the end, and it was kind of like, well, that's kind of an issue. And you don't have to use them; you can do whatever the fuck you want and really find success. But that was kind of frustrating.
Yeah, definitely agree. Same thing with the Greatsword. There was like some maybe not as big of considerations as the horn in terms of like not being able to tweak it the way you wanted to tweak it. But you know, I still think that this thing is really good. There was just a couple of things where I was just like, again, this is just not the best Monster Hunter I played. So that's why it's lower. You know, I can't speak to the overall quality of the updates because I really haven't played, and there have been steady updates, not as much as the community would like. And the big elephant in the room, which we did not really have any issues with, is PC performance is still poor for this game, which I mean, it's not really shocking. I mean, it's shocking from the perspective that like this was like the first like day and date Monster Hunter that came out on the PC. And you would have hoped that the devs at Capcom would have, like, I don't know, made sure that the game ran well on like a wide range of systems. And that's just not the case. And as far as I understand, it's still not the case. They just came out with like a developer update very recently, showing off like what's coming down the pipeline in the next little bit for Monster Hunter. And one of the big things that the dev team listed was PC, excuse me.
Oh, Jared's dying.
I'm dying. I'm choking on my own spit. PC improvement or stability improvements, not the first update in this like string of updates, but like 3 updates down. There's like, we're going to put a couple monsters in. We're going to have like a event in the gathering hub, and then we're going to fix PC performance. And it's like, you should have fucking fixed PC performance like the month that it came out. What are we fucking doing, guys? I mean, if you go and look at Steam reviews, I'm pretty sure it's like overwhelmingly negative because there are so many systems this game just does not run on.
Wow.
So I was thankful that we didn't really run into that because it ran fine for us, but like for a lot of people, this thing is not playable on PC. So,
and we're not the norm. So it's just like that's a thing where we're kind of detached, but we got to recognize it to be like, it's clearly a problem,
huge problem,
and it needs to be fixed. And that doesn't inspire confidence going forward.
Yeah.
Right. That's not great. I haven't tried it yet. You brought a Jack Daniels. This is the first Jack Daniels that's entered this podcast. We should have had regular Jack and this one to compare against the two. I haven't had standard Jack in 20 years probably, but this is like a Sinatra Select. Where'd you get this?
I got it in Wendover.
And massive bottle.
Yes, it is a big massive bottle. It was on clearance, so I got it at a steep discount.
That's one of the easiest whiskeys I've had to drink.
Yeah,
That thing.
smooth.
Oh yeah. That,
Yeah, so it is it is the Sinatra Select, which is apparently, I had to do some research because I was like, is this just Jack Daniels in like a
yeah.
different bottle?
It can't be. It's
But it
too
is
smooth.
not.
It's so smooth.
It is apparently they have these things in at the Jack Daniels distillery called Sinatra barrels, and the barrels are like hollowed out in a way like the inside of the charred barrel that they use has like grooves in it that apparently soaks up the whiskey in a different way.
Sinatra made.
Well, they call them Sinatra barrels, yeah. So I got it on a discount, and it comes in a really nice box, and like I think it's kind of like a stopgap between like the readily available Jack Daniels and some of their harder to find selections, because believe it or not, there are some bottles that will cost you thousands of dollars that Jack Daniels makes. Specifically, Coy Hill is what it's called. That's the holy grail of Jack Daniels. People go fucking crazy for it, and if you are trying to find a bottle, you're going to put a band down on it, $1,000, if not more, depending on the year and the proof and things like that. So, very surprised how good this is for a Jack Daniels product.
Yeah, it's easy to punch down at Jack as you get into whiskey. So, but it is nice being able to have something like this and be like, no, this you can put this next to other stuff and have a nice comparison on them. The proof, I mean, it's not high proof or anything, but it is just if someone isn't ready for some of the harsher whiskeys, this is a real good fucking starting point. Yep. I love how large the bottle is. It reminds me of the duty free bottles because they're always weird sizes, so you can't like. So it's harder to compare prices, and that's what it reminds me of. It just kind of towers over everything. It would never fit into my my shelf.
Yeah, it's very funny. There's like a fedora on the top of the cap, which is like, okay, all right. But there's a booklet that comes with it. Comes in like a giant wooden box, and there's a booklet that's like 15 pages long, talking about how much Frank Sinatra was an alcoholic, basically, and how much he loved Jack Daniels and was a huge fan of it. So it's a cool thing to have. Like, you know, I think that this is around like $150, and I bought it for like 80 or 90 bucks. Okay. So it's like, random clearance.
Random fact: Jack is probably the whiskey that has gone the wrong way out the most for me. I don't know if it's close, because in college I always thought I was all fancy. I was like, oh, I'm not buying Beam, I'm going to buy Jack, and it's definitely the one that I've
which is hilarious. That like shows you like just like being marketing. Not where we're at now, with like understanding that Jack and Beam is completely different, right?
They're not.
Beam is fucking bourbon and Jack Daniels is Tennessee whiskey.
No one was making that difference.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
A single person would have been like, oh no. They're just like, no, this one's better.
But Tennessee whiskey, it's its own thing, and they do different things. You know what I mean? I still haven't brought the Dickel over, because I hate it so much.
George Dickel?
Yes. Yeah. But that's the other like big Tennessee whiskey brand. And some people love it. I think it tastes like Flintstone vitamins. I think it's disgusting, but I don't know. Maybe we'll bring that over at some point in time.
I'm still waiting to see if I get the birthday bourbon. It's still on the table.
You didn't talk to your connection?
We haven't done Christmas with my brother-in-law. And so Utah does this drawing and for the Old Forester birthday bourbon, and then they list the names of the people that won, and I get my whole family to like submit, and presumably so they would give it to me if they won, and his first name is there, and then his first letter of the last name is there,
right?
And I'm just like,
did he get it?
Is he gonna you know, there's got to be like a less than 1% chance that he's gonna show up when we do. He's coming tomorrow. So
oh my God.
We will see.
Dude, I fucking hope so, because when I went to the Old Forester distillery, like they had birthday bourbon.
Yeah.
And like I just wanted to get like a small, or not a small batch, but a single barrel. And I couldn't even get that at the distillery.
Damn.
But they had birthday bourbon in the bar for like $200 for a 2-ounce pour. And my boss was like, you want to do it? Jesus. I'll do it with you. And I was like, no. So I still have not tried it, and I would love to try birthday bourbon. So I'm pulling for you.
We will see. My number 8 is another game I'm not done with, but I have been playing quite a bit in bed. Final Fantasy Tactics, the kind of the remaster, reimagining of that thing. I like it a lot. I have complaints as I've getting further in, and I'm on the higher difficulty, so it's a motherfucker. I have had to grind like straight up just go to the field and just keep doing random battles to work out the job system. Luckily, the job systems are pretty fun, so grinding isn't as bad, and at least for me, it's not as bad because unlocking all of the different jobs and all the skills and then moving them around and seeing what you can do, like that's pretty enjoyable. um I've flipped. I think originally I said the voice acting is cool, and I do think it's well done, but I think this they're so far up their own ass in their like they're like this knight's realm, like the setting, to listen to it is kind of just like eventually you're just like, this is terrible. The writing's not quite good enough to have the voice acting be as good as it is,
Mm.
because they're just like, sire, they took Queen Alma, we gotta go, and you're just like, oh, you, I think I should just read it. Maybe it's just it reads better than it sounds. It's pretty funny, but I mean, I'm enjoying it. I think I'm in the last act and still just kind of chipping away, and it's more of a, this is kind of like where a lot of this stuff started because it's really fucking old.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool seeing this thing basically existed in close to this form a long fucking time ago,
Mm-hmm.
and it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, Tactics Ogre and this are probably the
Mm.
two that you would point at as being like the granddaddies of this kind of style of game for sure.
I still think it's fucking crazy that they changed the map in a way that it's a little easier to like. It's just this square that you can spin around, and then your sight can be blocked, and you can do this overhead. But I'm just kind of like, no one could come up with like more, like you can move the map, but we're talking Mario 64 movement. It's not free, so it only goes 20 degrees at a time, and you're like, well, I need to go 10. I really need to go 10 degrees,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, "Bleh, bleh."
Yeah.
That's a little frustrating, but I think generally it's a pretty cool thing, and I would like to see them do more of this shit, like actually build on these things rather than just re-release these.
I think that there's not a non-zero chance that that happens. You know
Like
what I mean?
people, there's a fan base for it,
Right.
right? And it's not the most expensive thing to make if you aren't completely going crazy with the graphical fidelity of it. So
And
I don't
Squeenix
know.
also came out explicitly and said that they were going to invest money in old IP
Hmm.
this year. So, like, they announced it this year,
I think
along with Capcom did the same thing. So that's promising.
I
You
think
know what I mean?
going back to Ivalice, which is where this game is set, and it's where a Final Fantasy 12 is set. I think that is pretty compelling.
And Vagrant Story, which is not
that's
Final Fantasy, but it's still Square Enix.
it's cool that there's just that whole world. There's a Retronauts that's probably 8 years old that goes through the whole thing. That's actually pretty interesting because Jeremy Parrish fucking loves Ivalice. But
Did you ever play Vagrant Story?
no, did not.
I rented it a few times and it was way too hard.
Really?
The thing kicked my ass, but
Is
yeah.
there a way to play it anymore besides going back to
Yes.
well, besides going back to the original?
Well, yes. Not
Besides,
legal.
besides emulating it. Like,
But yes.
okay.
No, I there might have been
I
like
probably have it. Wait, which system was it on?
PlayStation, the original PlayStation.
I think I already have it loaded to the Steam Deck then because I went through.
Yeah, there's probably and then like if you want to go the legal route, there's probably a listing on like PlayStation 3 or something like that. You could go in the store and get it that way. Really cool game though, really interesting. But I would like to go back and play that as an adult because it just kicked the shit out of me when I was a kid. It was like, this is not for me. But
I wonder if that backwards compatible PS3 I have is worth any money.
oh, it's worth a ton.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah.
It was given to me by our friend that moved to Australia.
Yes.
So
And he played Dynasty Warriors on it for fucking hundreds of hours, and that's pretty much it. I also have one of those, and those things are fucking incredible. But yes, they are worth a pretty penny.
Oh yeah, perfect. Tell me about your number 7.
Number 7 is Death Stranding 2.
I saw it, and it would totally be on my list if I'd played more than 8 hours of it, or
Yeah. really surprised that I enjoyed this game as much as I did, because I really did not like the first game
You
very
you
much.
bounced so fast on the first
It's
one.
true.
Like I did not expect this. Like even when you said you were going to play it, I was just like, well, why would you do that?
Yeah.
And I'm glad that they made enough changes. I didn't feel like they made an enormous amount of changes, but I really liked the first one, so uh, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is just its own thing. I mean, in the same way that the first game was, I mean, it's just so unique and there's just nothing like it. Uh, and, just the amount of freedom that you have in this game to kind of do what you want and kind of handle the game the way that you want to handle it. It's like Kojima in a nutshell in terms of, especially specifically like his most recent games.
Mhm.
Um, and so I really appreciated it from that perspective. Like as soon as I got the truck, I never left the truck and I just delivered packages in the truck. So like that does away with a lot of kind of like the
Tripping
tedium
on stones.
of
Uh,
actually like hiking, but there is something that dug its hooks into me in terms of like building out infrastructure on the continent, and then delivering shit from
mm,
place to place, and once you get really hooked on the infrastructure building, there's a lot of infrastructure that you can build. And I really enjoyed that aspect of it, where it was just like, oh, I got fucking roads that I gotta upgrade. I gotta build more
mm.
roads. I gotta upgrade roads, you
Did you play
know.
for 100 hours?
Over, yeah,
Damn.
like probably like 115 hours total. Um, so just gameplay wise, this thing is fantastic in my opinion. And yeah, they just kind of like do away with, like, I felt like at least in the early stages of the first game, there just wasn't a lot of variety. It was just like hike here and like there's these bad guys that you can like stun with a stun gun. And like early on in this
Mm,
game, it's like, here's a number of things that you can use at the beginning of the game to combat these things. So just the kind of drip of items and things like that, it was really compelling. And then on top of that, getting to 4 stars on every single settlement, or at least most of them, gave you like a really compelling item or a cool item to just like build out your arsenal. And by the end, you just have so many things at your disposal to just fuck shit up and play the game you want to play the way you want to play. And so that really, really was compelling to me. I mean, I think this is one of the best looking games of all time.
I wish the combat was more fun.
I think that it's fun, but I understand what you're saying about that.
I
But
can't not compare it to Metal Gear Solid 5.
yeah, sure.
And Metal Gear Solid 5 combat is so much fun.
You didn't
like
get the
like
guitar though.
like
You didn't get the fucking combat guitar, which is a fucking thing that
uh,
is in that game, which
that
is, sounds funny, but it's a thing,
that's the
and it's
type
a
of
really
thing.
cool thing.
It's the type of thing that would bamboozle me.
Yes,
It's the
the
type of
old
that's
combat guitar is
that
real good, Nick.
that and that the bosses. I think you still at
Yes.
the end of the day, it's just like, man, you're known for bosses, man.
These bosses are not good in this game. And then the bigger issue and why it's lower on the list for me is the
Mm.
story is just not digestible in any way, shape, or form. And I give Kojima a little bit of credit because I think a lot of this is open to interpretation.
Mm.
Um, but I just found it so completely not digestible, and it just came out as like ridiculous. There are some fantastic moments at the end of this game where you're just like, holy fuck. There's a straight up fighting game sequence where like everything, like, and obviously we're spoiling things on these
Sure, yeah, yeah,
games,
yeah.
but there is a fucking sequence where Troy Baker's character and Sam fucking it's a 2D fighting game. And there's
Mm.
health bars at the top of the screen, and you just have a fucking fight, like a fighting game, like Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter.
I
And
swear we killed that dude in the first one.
you did,
Okay, great, perfect.
but
All
don't
right.
worry, because it's not really him. It's just like it's a husk of him. I don't
Sure,
fucking know, Nick. But yeah, I will say that I think that the very end, like in Witcher 3 fashion, there's like a sequence, like, to compare it, like Witcher 3, Ciri flashes across the screen and you're like, oh shit, Ciri's going to be
Mm.
the next character. There's a similar sequence at the end of this game where you're like, holy shit, like, is this where they're going to go with this thing? But then I've also heard that Kojima doesn't want to do any more of these. And he basically has said like he's just gonna ship this out to somebody on the team and he's not gonna be involved if they make more Death Strandings.
Hmm.
So I don't know, but the way that the game ends, it's like they're basically passing the torch from Sam to another character.
Hmm.
And it's Dead Man, Guillermo del Toro. No, I'm joking. It's not, but that'd be fucking cool too. Uh,
it's it's Conan O'Brien. He was in the first one.
he was in the first one. Yes,
It's,
he really was. Yeah, but I mean, look, Kojima is just Kojima is on his own island, and he is like, I mean, arguably the most visionary, interesting game developer that lives right
yeah,
now. And so, yeah, this thing is a fucking monstrous video game that demands your attention. And I really had a good time with it. And the soundtrack is fucking Woo Kid. I had Woo Kid in my Spotify list of
for a while.
No, in my like the top artist of 2025. Woo Kid was there just because of the Death Stranding soundtrack, because there's so many good tracks that he made for that thing. So yeah, big fan of this thing.
Nice, nice. My number 7, which I'm assuming we're not going to talk about because I bet you have it higher, is Donkey Kong.
It's the next one on my list.
Oh, your number. Well then we can just go into Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
I really went back and forth here because I don't. This type of game is just not. It's not what I come to play games for. It just isn't. It's and this thing's a lot of fun, and it's extraordinarily unique in that when you first start that fucking game and you're just like, oh, I can just like punch everything, and I think everyone does the same thing. Like you load into that thing and literally just like go and just fuck shit up for like 5 minutes, and you're just like, wow, how are they going to make a game out of this? And they sure did. And it's a lot of fun. I played it with my daughter, and we actually went back to it recently, and we made a little more progress. I had a hard time. I was like borderline thinking about leaving it off my list, and I was like, I don't think that's quite right.
Not right.
Because I do think that it belongs on it. It is a great thing that belongs on the list. It's just tough for me because it's like I would opt to play a lot of things before choosing to play this. And I think I was higher on Odyssey, which is interesting.
I was higher on Odyssey.
Were you?
As well.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I think Odyssey is the greatest 3D Mario game of all time.
Okay, so I'm not like out on. Okay,
I absolutely love
good.
Odyssey.
Right.
But no, I definitely agree that this deserves to be on the list for the simple fact that this mechanic, the destruction mechanic, we really haven't seen anything like this, like at the scale and level that it's done here. Red Faction.
Yeah,
I'm saying like, and like there's plenty, like you could
I never played Red Faction, so I don't even know what the fuck
you blow shit up.
Okay.
I mean, those early dice games as well. You could make that Levolution is what they used to call it, which is the dumbest fucking like terminology that you just pull out of your ass. But no, like at the scale and scope that this thing is on, right? Like, I mean, Red Faction came out back in the day, so there was limitations. There are virtually no limitations with the destruction mechanics in this game. There are some, but not many, right? And there are sequences in this game where you can like just burrow down as far as you want to go and destroy as much as you want to destroy. And so like there's just something about that loop in this game that is executed in such a great way that I couldn't not have it on my list. I do have criticisms of the game, but I think it is just absolutely fantastic. And probably the biggest criticism I have is this should have been a launch title for the Switch 2 when it came out, and it's weird that it came out a month after Switch 2 came out. But it's gorgeous, fantastic looking game. It runs really well on the Switch 2, which is pretty fucking impressive because of the amount of destruction. I think the destruction and the amount of things going on the screen at any given time is pretty much unmatched that I've seen in a video game ever.
Especially that it runs like that, because Nintendo they do have games that chug in their history, and I would have expected
that was my worry.
I would have expected this to chug because you can do some insane shit.
You can do some insane shit. I love the reimagining new aesthetic for Donkey Kong. so tired. The
Yeah,
the
yeah.
fucking Donkey Kong Country version of Donkey Kong
Rare.
that existed for
Yeah.
fucking 2 decades, like, is iconic and is what I grew up with. But the new version of Donkey Kong is so
It's
good. And having little Pauline, I think that she is fine here. But I really enjoyed my time with this thing. It's just kind of unfortunate because I think it's still, even with this really unique mechanic, I think it gets overshadowed by Astrobot from 2024. I think Astrobot is like an all-time great like platformer, 3D platformer in this vein. And even though Astrobot has some like unique nuances to it, it's by and large like a pretty standard formulaic platformer, just executed at a really
but
high
it's an
level.
incredible platformer.
Yeah, it's
And
executed at such a high level.
just with this game's not a good platformer. Like literally,
It's kind of like a different thing.
right? Like
Yeah.
it's not. I don't know if that's the where it's placed. It's just not. It feels completely wrong to
Yeah.
compare this game to like either a Mario or an Astrobot because it's just like this is not trying to do that. That precision is just not quite how
Well,
this
until
thing
it does,
works.
and then that's when it gets kind of frustrating. Should I not spoil this
I
because
don't
you're
think anyone's gonna be mad at this.
well, I was asking you,
No, I don't
but
care.
this gained a lot of points for me at the end because Donkey Kong is just kind of doing his own thing, and they create this story that is just like kind of on its own island, and you're like, okay, I'm going from like world to world, or going down
Yeah.
further and further down in these different worlds and fighting these like animal bosses and then getting their abilities. But when you get to the very bottom, fucking King K. Rool shows up, and
Okay.
it's fucking like it was maybe the biggest holy shit moment in gaming in 2025 for me, because you just find out that he's been like pulling the strings with all this shit.
Hmm.
And it just brings it back to like
Sure.
my nostalgia and my childhood of fucking fighting K. Rool in Donkey Kong Country. And it's fucking awesome, dude.
That's a good decision.
Yes. Yes. You're just like, holy shit, K. Rool, you're the fucking big baddie here. And you're like, oh, fuck yeah. And then, you actually like that's one of the criticisms I have. Like, the game is super easy when you compare it to Astrobot, that was like fucking super difficult at certain times.
Oh, yeah.
And then Odyssey also had like a level of challenge if you wanted to do like, ancillary things outside of like the main story.
Mhm.
There was some challenge there. This thing doesn't have a lot of challenge until you get past credits. And then there are challenge areas to like finish everything off. And those are actually pretty challenging. And there is some platforming and things that you have to do, but yeah, dude, fucking King K. Rool, and he looks great, just like
Yeah.
Donkey Kong. He's like mostly pretty much the same, but the boss fight with K. Rool is heads and tails the hardest boss fight. Like, I had to do it a couple of times to get it done. Like, so it poses some challenge. But yeah, I think overall, this thing is fantastic, and it never got old punching a banana and then you punch it like 3 times, boom, 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 and then it explodes and it's like, oh, banana. I just fucking love it, dude. Fucking shoot it into my veins.
So is that your number 6? Is
that was
right?
That was my number 6. So what is your number 6?
I'll do my 6, and then we'll maybe take a break and come and do the last. This is where we're really getting into. We're now past anything that I haven't completed, and we're like into the shit, and Hades 2. And I'm assuming yours is going to be later.
Hades 2 is my number 5. So that actually works.
Let's talk about Hades 2, and then we'll take a break then. We're right. We are almost in sync here.
Yes.
I liked Hades quite a bit. I never finished it. I never killed Hades once, and in that game you need to do it a lot to do the full ending. But in Hades 2, it for some reason it grabbed me a little more than that game. I'm not sure why, but it's very good. The writing's still good. It's still quite funny, and they've kind of perfected the formula and built on it in that there's a lot of shit going on, a lot of things going on back home, a lot of moving. Like every run, you're bringing a lot back to keep increasing and upgrading and opening up a lot of options in this thing. And I really liked it. I thought it was fantastic. I've finished the top. I finished the bottom. It keeps going, so there's more for me to do. But I have done that initial, and that thing's awesome. I didn't like the open world area, but it was pretty limited in scope, so it's not a huge knock on it.
Yeah, there's two of them.
Yeah,
There's one
there's
at
not,
the bottom, one at the top.
and I thought those were unnecessary essentially, but they aren't like bad. They weren't like this is a knock. It's just like I don't know that this is it.
But at least in the case, well, you can do it in both areas, but specifically the top portion with the bats, once you unlock the bats,
Mm,
it basically gives you like an understanding of
sure.
what you're going to lock out because you have a finite amount of choices in that area of where like what gates you can go and like what buffs you can receive.
Mm,
And so like I like that. And that's kind of like an encapsulation of why this thing is so fucking good
mm,
is that hub and just the constant like drip feed of new things to go to the cauldron and craft and how that affects the open
mm.
area in the hub and how that affects your runs more broadly speaking. I think that when you compare that to the first game, it's just heads and tails better.
Yep.
And in the same way that I said Outer Worlds is how you do a sequel, I think that this, stands
Yeah.
true for Hades 2 as well. Like everything you could maybe like split hairs between Zagreus and what is her fucking
Oh
name?
shit.
The chick. Why do we not remember her name? It's like on the tip of my tongue. But anyways, she and Zagreus, I just like, I know a lot of people are like, oh yeah, Zagreus is a better character. And I just don't think that's true. Even though I remember Maneloe is how it's pronounced. Maneloe. And yes.
The N before the L?
Yeah, it's Maneloe. I promise you it's Maneloe. Go and play the game, Nick. Yes. Okay.
You.
Okay. All right.
The
Well,
L's before the N. Why would they do that? That's not how
I don't
pronouncing
know.
words
It's
works.
fucking Greek,
Fucking
dude.
Greek.
But yeah, I think she's a better character, and I think there's more. She has more nuanced motivations than like petulant, angry with my dad.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like there's more stakes that she has in terms of like the overall story. And then, the same thing that pretty much all Supergiant games have. It's just like all of their writing is so good. And then couple that with the incredible character art that they have in this game. I mean, it's just fucking fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those. It's hard to stop playing. It's one of those you can look at the clock and be like, oh fuck, what time is it? Because you've been in a run and you felt like it does a good job of making you feel like you break the game, like you find a build and you can find them organically and be like, I'm the strongest motherfucker that's ever been. And this is so good. And that shit always feels good when a game allows you to do that. And man, I really like it. I probably not done with it. I would like to keep going because it's an easy one to go back to too. You could be able to pick it up and understand how to play it real quick.
You played more of it than I did. You caught up to me because I was like a pretty significant distance away from you, and then I dropped it for Pokemon, which
got mistake.
Goddamn.
I don't think.
Yeah.
Well, you better not bring up Pokemon in the next few games.
Do you think that I'm going to? What are the chances of that happening? No, but what I played, I mean, I probably put like 30-ish hours into it and like kept on telling myself while I was playing Pokemon, why am I doing this to myself? I should go back and play more Hades 2 because it's so good. And yeah, I would like to get back to it. I never finished the top. I finished the bottom, but never the top.
Well, the top's funny because it's been so long. I'm gonna fucking forget all the goddamn names. But you think you're at the boss of the top, and that's not even the boss.
Yeah.
And then you kill him, and then you go up and you fight like a big bad, and then Zeus shows up, which is kind of disappointing because in the middle of the battle on the top, Zeus comes and helps.
Mm-hmm.
But he's just like, I hit you with lightning, and then he like leaves. You're just like, more light, Zeus.
Yeah.
Assess the situation. More lightning. Where are you, my man? Like, what are we doing?
I think the build system in this game is so good as well. Like being able to pick as you unlock the different, basically tarot cards, uh, and like kind of like picking and choosing the way that you want to, set up your run is fantastic. And I think that the weapons, by and large, like there maybe are a few duds that are not super fun to play, in my opinion, but for the most part, like depending on how you're building out your build, there's like viable options for
For sure.
every weapon. So
I think Supergiant's gonna have a hard time going away from this series.
they will. I think it's something new. I think it'll be Games Awards next year. They'll announce, maybe not next year, but
that'd be
maybe
too early. That would be pretty fucking fast.
Well, I don't think that it's gonna like come out.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like we're working on something basically. Sometime in the next year, maybe like early 2027. And I would be shocked if it's another Hades. I think I understand where you're coming from, but if you just look at their history outside of the last two Hades releases, like they got a pretty diverse log or games. You know what I mean? Like it's been unique idea after unique idea until Hades, right? And I hope and pray that it's not another Hades.
There's just such a sales difference too. So that's why I'm just like,
yeah,
I have a real fucking hard time.
They've already cemented themselves a long time ago. Like they're not going anywhere.
If it's not a Hades, I have a hard time believing it is not following a very similar structure, which their previous games don't like
at all.
There's a sports game, right? Like they made a
Pyre. Yeah. It's like basketball. That game is weird as fuck. That's probably my least favorite.
I never played it. So
Transistor, and then obviously Bastion was the first game. Yeah. I think that's it. Bastion, Transistor, Pyre, and then Hades. Yeah. I just think that they're such a creative team, and they're doing game development in the right ways, in my opinion. And I think that will and they haven't, I mean, they may have grown a little bit, but like at their core they're a pretty small team, and they always have been, and very like tight knit, right? And so I think that, and they're just, I mean, specifically with Kasavin, like he's just kind of been in the game industry for so long, and in one capacity or another. I just think that they're going to continue to iterate and move forward.
Be interesting to see.
It's like new game and then Hades 3. So I could see that for sure.
That was your number 5, right?
Yeah.
All right. So we will take a break, and then we will do my 5 and then get down and see where we land. All right, we are back. Jared's going through it.
Oh my God, dude.
We've
this nose is not good.
I think we had a Glenn Alecky on the previous show. I think that's when you brought it.
Yeah, the 12.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd mentioned that they changed labels, and then I found a bottle. This is like a 2010. It's a 2010 single cask, and it's got the old Hercules font that you had mentioned, which is pretty amusing. But I was laughing because Jared was trying to experience this thing a little before we came back from break, and it's hot, 61%. You got to add some water to it.
I don't know if this Glen is just fucked, but I just got alcohol. I just got alcohol in the first nose, and now I just smell like a skunk.
Now you've ruined everything. All of your my
smellers
are done.
They're
all fucked.
Do you remember Richie Rich with Macaulay Culkin?
Oh God.
Like the sniffometer or something like that.
I saw the movie. I know what you're talking about.
And it like it just like tells you smells, which is like the dumbest shit ever. But it was just like a giant nose. It was very funny. I don't know why. So, anyways, continue. Sorry, not trying to derail.
No, it's a pretty unique scotch.
This thing smells like soap to me.
It's just really hot. You gotta add water to take it down. I've been waiting for you to take a sip. We're trying to get there.
It tastes a lot better than it smells.
I'm glad it turned the corner for you.
It's it is incredibly hot Um,
I mean, it's one of the strongest that I have.
we're still like neck pour territory with it though.
Can you
So
explain that to me?
yeah, so
I've heard you talk about like a neck pour,
yeah.
and I do not fully understand what that. I understand what it means. I don't understand the impact.
Yeah, so obviously bottles are sealed at distilleries,
Mhm.
and then there's going to be like a level of oxygen at the top of the bottle that's kind of like sealed into the bottle, right?
Sure.
And as you open it, the distillate is oxidized, and it gets air from wherever
Mm.
you're at, right? And there is like a common thought process that that first one or two pours, depending on how big of an alcoholic you are,
Is the worst pour of the bottle.
they're going to be, well, not necessarily bad. They can be good, but you really don't get a proper understanding of what the product is until you get past like that that top little neck, like
It's the
down
word.
down in
It's,
here, where
it's still.
more oxygen when you open is getting forced into the bottle. So it reacts with the distillate and opens it up, kind of like a wine, but like a slower process,
Oh,
right?
interesting.
Yes.
Hmm.
Because that's the same thing. Like you let a wine sit
Sure.
and
Yeah.
or you'll sift it through one of those stupid big old like wide assed things and let it sit for a bit, and then that's supposed to
A
open it up.
decanter.
A decanter, thanks. I don't know. I think about a decanter
Yeah.
like these decanters, and
Yeah.
I don't think about them about like those. You know what I'm talking
I've
about.
got a fucking top decanter. I don't think you've seen so it comes down and you can spin it. And it's a whole deal. And
This has got like a magnet in it that like
no,
spins like a beaker
no. So it
or
sits.
a Bunsen burner.
It sits in the case, but you can pull it out and literally you could spin it and it would like twirl around.
Mhm.
If I think pretty sure I would break it. I've never really done it more than like just kind of dabbled.
Sure.
My wife gave it to me. I think while we were dating, and she got it in Napa. It's kind of cool, but like we never use it. We're just not pour wine into decanter people. We're like open bottle of wine, drink bottle of wine
Sure.
people. So
I'm
maybe
open bottle of wine, pour it down the
pour
fucking
it down, pour
drain,
it down the drain, and
and then never speak of it again. Uh, yeah, so that's generally what most people in the whiskey community say is like, do not judge a product until you get. We're getting close. You get past that like initial ridge of the bottle.
Mhm.
That's enough oxygen that's been kind of in it for a while, and that really opens it up, and that's where you kind of that was a lot of water. That's where you kind of
Mm.
start to understand like the complexity of a spirit, because it's also like with hot bottles like this, you're getting just like heavy alcohol, and you allow the oxygen to kind of like work into the distillate, and it's supposed to mellow things down and open it up. So
It's really hard. Like I've kind of purposely added more water to this one than I've had. I've only had this. This is maybe my third time. The first one was straight, and then the second one I added some drops, and then I'm trying to just kind of like figure out what this thing's doing
I
because
think
it's really hard to get a gauge on them when it's burning in the back of your mouth, like more than what you normally expect. At least it's
mhm.
really hard to be like, now I'm gonna judge this thing. It's like, well, I'm kind of in a lot of pain. I'm trying
Well,
to like
you don't let me see the bottle again.
yeah.
You don't really get like those quintessential space side flavors from this thing.
No, you don't.
Where like if we compare the 12 year that I brought over here,
Well, we have a space side that we'll have, and it's night and day different.
um, and so what I go to is cask, and it looks PX Punchin, which I believe is it's not sherry. I don't think it is, at least. Let's look at what Punchin is. Um, but yeah, that usually a lot of space sides will be matured in sherry casks because it is generally pretty sweet and easy. And it's Punchin, is what I don't know if that's how you pronounce it,
Yeah.
Puncheon, but it's fucking punching me in the face. I'll tell you that much.
It's a motherfucker. I think it's unique when you can get past the alcohol and actually taste the thing. Um, I don't know. I'm not sure where I fall on it yet. I'm still trying to figure it out a little bit.
So it's a type of oak. Um, and it's been seasoned with sherry, but it's the barrel itself, and they use it in Scotch maturing. And the two that use it most prominently is Glendronach, which we've had a few of
Yeah,
those,
I have one in my shelf right now.
and then Glenallachie.
Yeah.
So they're kind of doing their own thing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel on it. This is really dark for a 12-year, and
It
it's not
is.
chill filtered.
Mm-mm.
So pretty interesting. It's got to be something with the cask, but this is like super dark.
Look, I need more information about this thing.
Yeah, this is like I haven't had any. I'm not saying this is bad. It's just not what I expected from Glenallachie.
You can get a lot of scotch. I mean, it's pretty high alcohol for a lot of scotch. It's
Definitely, and it doesn't seem like it's opening up much. Like each sip I've had of it, it just kind of tastes the same, and it's just like bang, boom,
you motherfucker,
in your fucking face,
punch you in the dick.
So, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I was singing the praises of Glenallachie, and I still stand by it. I mean, because we've had some really good stuff from them.
I'm interested to get to the Tamdu, which I had previously looked up the pronunciation because I was like, I'm gonna fuck this up, and then I actually looked it up and I was like, oh, I probably would have been pretty close. But
isn't it Tomdu? Or is it Tam? Is it Tamdu?
It's Tamdu.
All right.
I don't know.
Easy enough.
Yeah.
I think that the other bottle that I brought you will like as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, we're to my number 5. We already did your number 5. It was Hades 2. Mine was Blueprints.
Okay.
And I think halfway through Blueprints, maybe 70% through Blueprints, it was higher on the list than it is today. In that it went a little too far as how complex some of the like if you look up like the end game puzzles, which I did not fully do, it went too far. Other games have done this. Tunic did it where it was just like I had a good time, and then like the final door for the final boss, you're just like, well, this is not a thing that people can do. And Blueprints did a little bit of the same thing, but that mechanic that this thing has of going into rooms and getting to pick what the next room is and the strategy of that, for some reason that is so much fun, and I would like a different game to kind of have something like that, because I could just keep playing that over and over and over. Like, it is a drug. And then your ability to kind of, you can figure out a lot of blueprints on your own. Like, you can learn a lot about what's going on in blueprints
through repetition,
through repetition and playing it. I think that eventually it gets a little too much, but like so much of it I really had a good time with, and figuring out, oh, I can combine these fucking things. This is like a game changer, and kind of just an incredible thing that I believe was made by a very small team / one guy.
For sure, is one guy,
Like,
right?
I mean, I think that
maybe more
all of these have a little bit of extra help along the way. Like, the credits are never one guy. It's like, hey, made by Dave, and like, we've never really gotten that in any of these games.
I'm just saying about like the programming and like the proper like meat and potatoes of the game. I thought it was one dude. Maybe I'm wrong though.
If I ever make a game and it's just me, it's gonna be director Nick, creative director Nick, and just it'd be like 5 minutes long. It's just like lead writer.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know, but
I don't remember, to be fair. It might be more people.
I think the thing is pretty incredible, and I think it's a game that, like, people that are just into not genres specifically, but just into like gaming as a whole, like the industry as a whole, it's something that you should play, because it's something you need to understand what that is. It's one of the more unique things that came out this year.
Agreed.
By a pretty long shot.
Yeah, I mean, it speaks volumes that I actually like this game and enjoyed the time that I had with it.
It's a puzzle game. You have no business anywhere near it.
And I liked what I played, and I played a decent amount of this thing and was fairly engaged throughout the time that I played. I didn't get to credits. I think I got to like the basement. That's as far as I got. And that was like a monumental achievement for me
Yep.
because this is just not the type of game that resonates with me, generally speaking. And let's not, you know, say anything else besides the fact that this is incredibly complex. Like, this is not a watered down experience. Like, there is a lot of complexity and a lot of really hard puzzles in this game. It's not an easy puzzle game. And so that speaks to its overall quality for because usually, you know, you play like The Witness or something like that, where it's just like these mind breaking puzzles. And I'm like, nope, no,
I
no, 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 no.
never played The Witness, and it's gonna happen at some point because I have no idea. Like, I do like these games to a certain extent, depending on uh how far they go with it. So I would like to dabble with The Witness at some point. I
I
know that you despised it.
Yeah, hated everything about it. I thought it was just not my thing. Like, I understand why people like it. I was
Sure.
just like, this is not why I play video games. Um, but yeah, and like one of my big criticisms of like the genre, like these really complex puzzle games as a whole, is like you got to break out graph paper and you got
Yep.
to like like if you want to play blueprints super effectively, like you got to take notes and do all that shit. And like in spite of all of that, I still enjoyed my time with it. I mean, I didn't take notes. I refuse. I'm not doing that.
There are some safe codes that don't change, so you either memorize them or write them down.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And no, the thing was cool, and it you know, it's not a story heavy game, but it does have a narrative that is pretty properly explained if you really dive through all of it. Like for the sickos, like it's got kind of everything for them. It's really an incredible thing that they he pulled off.
Yeah, it's interesting too though how the kind of overall community has turned on it as time has passed.
Really.
I've seen so many people like praising like the loop of the base game. And then when you are supposed to play the rest of the game,
Oh, I think the end game. Well,
people are like, fuck this. And it's pretty crazy. Like, I just saw an article recently of somebody in games media being like, this is fucking garbage. And so it's interesting that people love the base, but the end game is, I don't think,
well,
widely loved.
the end game's not it's not. I don't believe it's reasonable to
Right.
say I want to finish this game and I'm a normal person and I'm going to be able to do it. I don't think that's true.
I don't understand what changes or anything like that, but
Yeah.
I've just seen a lot of hate for it.
It's just way too complex for you to fully. You have to be so deep, and you're not going to figure it out. And then, in my opinion, like these games, you can Google a little bit, but once you're looking up stuff very often, you might as well just stop. Like it's the game, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're Googling your way through everything, well then like you might as well just not play it because there's nothing else there.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think that it hurt it. Not that the Game Awards really matter at all, but I think it won one award, which was like best puzzle game, which is like a shoe in, obviously, for that. But you did not.
who did it compete against?
I don't even know. I'm pretty sure it won best puzzle game. I remember it being
Sudoku.
listed. Oh no, Luminous
Oh,
Arise.
okay. I've been meaning to
which-
play that.
That
actually.
no, I've got it in the Steam library. Go check it out. It's
Okay.
it's pretty cool. It's pretty fucking cool. I would rather play Tetris. I just the Tetris Effect in particular, I think is like one of, besides Battle Tetris back in the day, which is the best version of Tetris in my opinion. But yeah, Tetris Effect is just fucking incredible. We
Yeah.
played it in VR, I remember, back in the day.
It's a
But
hilarious
that thing
game.
is a whole ass vibe. And Luminous Arise is the exact same type of thing where they just take Luminous and then put a bunch of like cool music and visuals on the back of it. And it's really cool. I didn't play nearly enough of it this year, but yeah, it's in the Steam library. So go check it out. Yeah, there was a couple of puzzle games, but again, like it's interesting to me with Blueprints in particular because people were just like at the beginning of the year when that thing came out, like it was it, dude. Like it was people are ranting
People
and
were just like,
raving about it.
You have to go and see this.
And I agree with that. But it's just kind of interesting how the temperature around the game kind of fell off, at least in my opinion.
And I don't completely agree with it falling. I don't think it should fall off necessarily, because you can get to credits as a reasonable human being.
Yeah.
And then, so technically they did it right, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna make the sicko shit, put it after you get to the normal stuff, and that's exactly what they did, and that's exactly when I said, I'm done, I'm good,
Mhm.
everything's fine. So I don't know, it's a cool thing. I would be fascinated to see, like, does he make another thing? Do we play another thing in 7 years? Who knows?
Definitely.
Like, I would think so, because he can probably do whatever he wants now, right?
I
Like,
think another thing that is maybe overlooked, or we haven't talked about it at least, is like how, I mean, obviously the obvious one is it blends like roguelike mechanics into like a proper puzzle game,
mhm.
but the vibes of like Myst and
Oh, for sure.
and things like that, I think people really were kind of like starving for that kind of experience. And I mean, it delivered in spades in terms of that kind of like weird mystery going around, vibes like
Mhm.
that for sure. So
Mhm.
it's really cool. I think it's fucking cool. It's not for me necessarily, but I still really enjoyed it.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's like 20 on my list.
Damn. Okay.
I think
Well,
I probably played like 25, 30 games
some
this year, something
yeah,
like that.
I got a pretty good I got a pretty good list. I went through it and made it, and there was a, as always, like a lot of games go through this show. Like,
Yeah.
when you make the full list, you're just like, we're just a bunch of fucking sickos. What are we doing over here? Like,
We
it's
like
a
to
lot of,
play,
it's
as Garth
like,
Elgar once
just
said.
like I'm like it's not, it's just kind of incredible when you step back and look at it. You're just like, there's a fuckload of games that I can like speak to, even if I didn't finish them all. It is no joke,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's what I enjoy. So that's why we're here. What's your number 4?
My number 4 is Fantasy Life I,
Oh,
The Girl Who Steals Time.
okay.
Uh, Absolutely love this fucking thing, man.
And I barely remember you. I know you talked about it. I barely remember. It was.
Dude, this fucking thing is just in a lot of the same way that Blueprints like melds kind of like two genres together.
Mhm.
This absolutely did the exact same thing. I'm a big fan of level 5. Level 5 doesn't get as many flowers in the West as they do in the East. I mean, they put out a ton of different weird shit that
Mm.
never makes it to the West. But obviously these are the Nino Cooney guys. That's like the best, probably the best known game from level 5.
Yes.
But yeah, just melding the Animal Crossing kind of like more repetitive tasks, daily tasks, on top of more robust RPG combat, and melding those two things together, dungeon crawling, etc. I just was obsessed with this thing and played a shitload of it, and loved every minute of it. Really big fan, even though some of the elements of the game are somewhat repetitive, or not somewhat, absolutely are repetitive.
Mhm.
But that's kind of to be expected. If you look at Animal Crossing, like that is just repetitive tasks, but there is just something about it that is satisfying, doing that loop over and over and over again, and like seeing the numbers go up, and just kind of focusing on in and on like one task that you need to do to build something else up. I
Mm.
mean, Stardew, it functions very
Sure.
similar to that as well. But yeah, I mean, just including combat and more traditional RPG mechanics into that was just a recipe for Jared being hooked to his screen for fucking 85, 90 hours is what I put into it. And I just can't say enough about it. I mean, obviously, this is the second Fantasy Life game this was my first Fantasy Life game as well.
Oh.
And I mean, the first game was a cult classic. People fucking loved it. And then this thing drops, and I'm a believer and a huge fan now of this series, and really would love to play more of this kind of game, because I just think there's just something about the way that it functions in terms of like you pick a job at the beginning of the game, like
Mm,
a role, and you can work your way through that, and then you can max that out completely. And if you want to, you can just stick with that role and just you play that role. But that's not the way I played it. And it was like I'm maxing out every single job in this goddamn game. And it allows you to do that as well. So you're
sure.
just a jack of all trades. And that's where I found the most enjoyment in this thing, where it was like, okay, I've got like all the combat roles done, and now I'm gonna go and be like you know
Carpenter.
a carpenter,
Yeah.
exactly. And all of that is just really satisfying,
How
and I had a lot of fun.
how complex? When can my daughter play it? She's willing herself to be able to read. She's 5, but she's just I mean,
Not long, not long at all.
like I suspect that she's going to gravitate towards things like this and
Yeah.
really enjoy it. And as I'm watching her force herself to read at 5 in the morning when she wakes up, I'm just like, this is probably going to happen pretty quick that she can play some things.
Yeah, I don't think it'll take too long for her to wrap her mind around it. I mean, it's a fairly simplistic game, but there are some complexities here as well. That coupled with the fact that like the town building aspect of this game is a little bit of Animal Crossing and a little bit of Dark Cloud, which is a big callback, but was a huge fan of that when I was a kid.
Mm,
Um, and it's more like Animal Crossing in terms of like structuring your town and like placing buildings,
sure.
and it's more like Dark Cloud in regards to you're getting characters that you save from this dungeon,
That
and
Dark
then
Cloud, that's a Zelda killer.
no, it's not, but it's a good game in its own right. It's not a Zelda killer. If they like set aside the fucking bullshit marketing. That game's fucking good, dude. It is good. I mean, I'm looking at it through rose-colored
Sure.
glasses because I was like
It's old, I'm
10
sure. If
or
you go back
11.
to it, it's gonna be
But
some rough edges.
yeah, the difference was is like you were unlocking characters that then would turn, or you were unlocking like aspects of a town through dungeon crawling,
Sure.
and then you would build a town. With this, it's you're unlocking characters that then go into your town and do different things for you, and you unlock those through doing dungeon crawls, right? And the combat is not super complex, but it's serviceable and fun.
Mm.
Dude, I just fucking really like this game. Like it's a cult classic for a reason, and I understand why it's a cult classic now. I
Nice.
think, and I will give them a lot of credit. They've been like steadily updating it, and while I haven't went back just because I play a lot of different things, the community is very high on what they have done. They just released like the end of December. They released like a roguelike mode, and I haven't messed around with it or
Mm.
anything like that. And it's like all free content that they've just been releasing, like pretty decent sized updates as far as I understand. So I think this thing is a time suck, and if you get into it and buy into what it's doing, you're going to put a lot of time into it and have a really good time. If you can get over the aesthetics. The aesthetics are not great. It's like a top down chibi
Mm.
style aesthetic, and
I hate it quite a bit.
I know you hate it
Yeah.
quite a bit. And so it's like yeah, that could be like a hurdle to get over, but if you can get over that, I think this thing is
Mm.
fucking fantastic.
We've got a hell of maybe the most diverse list between the two of us
Yeah.
that we've ever had,
Mhm.
probably, because we're touching like everything. I don't Civ didn't make it on my list, so like we missed that genre, and
I
that's
literally said I was going to play it and I never touched
and
it. I will say over like the last 2 weeks, I've been going back to Total War Warhammer 3,
oh yeah.
which came out a while ago.
Mhm.
But the announcement of 40K
Yeah,
Warhammer
for sure.
40K, which I'm like between the two Warhammer, like the proper Warhammer timelines, I'm way more into 40K, like the space aesthetic and stuff
Sure.
like that. And I am going to fucking play the shit out of that
Yeah, it's cool.
when it comes out. But yeah, I've been messing around with Warhammer 3 again, and that thing is good.
Hmm.
It's good. And like I don't know, I must have been drunk a while ago, but I didn't realize, but I bought a shitload of DLC for that game. So I just started a campaign with some random rat motherfucker. And it's like, what champion do you want? And it's like, I'm going through the races and there's like just this fucking like endless wall of races. And I go on the rat people and I'm like, surely I've got like 2 or 3 rats. And I got like 10 motherfucking rats to pick from. And so I was like, which is the coolest rat? And
Shit's funny.
it's nuts how much content they put out for those types of games.
Uh,
But I've had a lot of, I've been having fun with that thing, man.
Oh,
It's
that's
cool.
cool.
It's cool.
Fantastic. So no, we are right in the thick of it. My number 4 is 100 Line Last Defense Academy. And it's a tough decision a little bit because this is like it's up there. It is so high of like it is so my jam. Like this thing, uh we talked about like arcs with dispatch and how like at the end it all funnels back to the same. And this thing doesn't do that. This is the opposite. This thing there's 100 different endings. And I've played it almost 100 hours. And I think I've got 29. And they are coming pretty fast more recently when I'm doing them. But this thing's incredible. And the gameplay is pretty good. It's definitely still secondary, but it's better than say what is the mech one that we played that we really liked, that was the gorgeous art style, the side scroller.
Oh, from Vanillaware?
Yeah.
99 Sentinel.
Yeah. So like
God damn it. Why are we so bad at remembering names of games? This is
Yeah.
all we do. Why can we not remember fucking anything?
But it's for some reason I compare the two, although they are different games, but the combat in 100 Line is more fun.
Yeah, well, the combat's not super similar.
No, it's not
13
similar.
Sentinels Aegis Rim.
I consider it similar because it's like story and then this like
This is just like a watered down Fire Emblem.
kind of.
I think it's a better comparison. Like
yeah,
13 Sentinels was just like its own thing as far as combat. It wasn't good, but it was his own thing.
This is like a very, very simple Fire Emblem. And then as you get further along, shit gets, pretty manageable because all of your guys get enough upgrades that you're just like, yeah, I can fucking murder this. And that's pretty satisfying. But the stories are absolutely ridiculous, and it really just blows your mind as you go through the different endings, because we talked about it earlier in the year, but like the segments, and it's like, all right, I made this choice, so like I'm sure this will wrap itself up in 9 minutes because that's the way the industry works. And like 4 hours later, like that segment completes, and you're just like, but that's not even like a normal, that was kind of a joke ending. And it just blows your mind what they're able to do. And I really want to do every single one of them because it just like feels right. And this is also kind of current. I don't know if you saw in the news, they were just talking about it. They just announced a new version. So according to them, this is 2 games.
That's a choice.
Well,
this is going to be like Pokemon Blue and Red version.
No, according to them, they said, look, this was 2 games. This was the first 100 days and then the second. So their complete version allows you to start at the second one where all the choices happen, which is kind of interesting. I don't know why you would want to do that, because like, why? But it's kind of weird. And like they have new box art and it's like 100 Line 2, and it's like, it's not 100 Line 2. What are we trying to do?
But you're laughing, but you're gonna buy it and play it.
Well, I have to. Well, I'm not gonna buy it and not open it, is what I'm gonna do. There's nothing different. So like there's no changes. So there's no reason for me to play it, but I'll buy it and throw it in that thing.
That's weird.
They're just saying, I mean, you play through 100 days and you make no decisions. And then, I mean, in the game I played,
why don't they just release like a DLC?
It's very weird, except this is like the physical version. So the physical version is basically,
I have a physical version.
It's being maybe this was maybe it's a special edition, because I know they were
Okay.
talking about these different covers, and I saw like 100 line, and I
Okay.
swear the other one said 100 line too, and I was just like, well, that doesn't exist. What are you
Yeah,
talking
I
about?
was like, you were hurting my
It's very
brain because
weird.
you the way you explained it, I was like, I have one at my house right now, a
It
physical version, but I
it
guess that makes more sense. This is for
it's
like the diehards,
I guess it
which you are one of them.
yeah, I can't wrap my head around who would just want to go and play the latter once, because once you've done the first part, like it's already open.
Yeah.
Except maybe they're just saying, look, if you buy this version, you don't have to play that shitty part, and you can just pick up and go and tinker with all of the jumping around on all the different timelines. And
Mm-hmm.
the thing's incredible. I'm an absolutely massive fan of the thing, and we'll see. This was the combination, right? This was the VLR guys, the Virtue's Last Reward guy, and the
Danganronpa, yeah.
and they came together. So I'm curious, because they had
And they released Shoot in Order. One of the guys released Shoot in Order, which hasn't
feel like
tracked that well.
No,
But one of the dudes that I don't know if it was the Danganronpa guy or the Virtue's Last Reward guy, but yeah, there's another game that's out this year, Shoot in Order.
I feel like they're attaching their names to some shit that's not. I feel like something's going on there. Like it's not.
You don't think they worked on it and they're just like riding hype?
I don't think they worked on it as much as maybe attaching their name implies.
Okay.
It is. Once I read the review, I was just like, I don't know. Also, like, it came out like a couple months after the other. So
well, I remember texting you and being like,
what is this?
Do you know that they are putting out another game? And you were like, no. And then you were like, I hadn't done any research outside of just seeing a heading on an article being like, fucking 100 line people are releasing another game. And I was like, what? Especially because they said like pretty explicitly that they were on their last leg as far as funding, and they didn't know if they were going to make it. But I think that is probably not a consideration anymore with how well 100 line did for them.
And then the new edition, which is, I mean, there's a chunk of people like me that will just buy it, whether you play it or not. So hopefully they're doing all right, because I would like to see more things like this. We haven't seen anything like it. You haven't seen anything with branching paths like this done before. And obviously the gameplay side is the reason it's so hard, is that like in Outer Worlds, the implication is it's a lot more work to have 100 different endings in this type of way, where you'd have hours and hours of like a unique storyline, right? Like,
well, it's far more text heavy.
Yeah, like I understand why like in Outer Worlds can't quite pull this off.
But not cooler if they did.
But seeing it in actually play out in a game that they can pull it off, you're like, man, it would be cool if even it was like 20 or 50 like really unique ones. Like you could really, it's a testament to just like how cool it could be. Like even like 10 endings, but you can like splinter hours and hours before. It would be really compelling.
Yeah.
Be awesome. Anyway, it was good game. I will probably keep
you talked about it all fucking year, and
it's so good.
Yeah. I mean, and I played a decent chunk of it as well, not nearly as much as you did, and I enjoyed what I played.
It's anime as fuck, and the inappropriate shit that you expect is they hold back enough. There's some stuff there, but it doesn't keep building, and eventually it's like gone. Which is kind of weird. It's kind of front loaded, and then all of anything that's inappropriate, at least what I've seen, it doesn't really carry over into the final picking all the timelines. Gotcha. Which is nice, because you're just like, that's what we doing here. What do we fucking
you're just gonna be playing this for the rest of your life.
Pretty much, because I really want them to come out next year and be like, hey, we're adding 20 more timelines. Like, fuck yeah, let's do it. Let's just keep going like forever. Yeah, why not? It's dumb enough that you can just keep doing it. Tell me what your number 3.
Number 3 for me. Yeah, this is number 3. Is Battlefield 6.
See, hell of a list. Top 3. We don't have any. We don't have overlap. That's crazy. Like I don't have Battlefield on my list. Period.
Well, yeah, you didn't play it at all, really.
Played
Played it for like an hour.
I played one match and refunded, and then I now own it again because I bought a shitload of graphics cards for work. So
Yeah. Now, wow, this thing is fucking incredible. Like, we're back, baby, in terms of having like a proper, you know, game in the style, I would say. Just across the board, in my opinion, which I do have a lot of experience with these kind of style of shooters.
you play Battlefields.
I do. I
You've
played
you've
all
always
of the
played them. I've
battlefields.
never played them. Like I will dabble and like at literally at your house run around or do some weird shit
Sure.
and be like, oh, that's kind of cool. But I've never gotten into a Battlefield. It's
Yeah.
never happened.
This thing is the best. I think since Battlefield 3. I think that's easy to say. Um, it's no surprise. Like, I mean, there's a bit of a dark cloud hanging over this whole thing because
How long
uh,
ago was Battlefield 3?
2014, 2013,
So
somewhere
long.
around there. It's been a while. Yeah. Yeah, again, dark cloud hanging over this because Vince Zampella kind of took the reins over this development and turned it around. I mean, people did not love 2046, myself included. It just it didn't hit the mark, and he comes in and kind of rights the ship, and then unfortunately passes away in like a horrible, terrible way. And
That is a huge loss for the industry. Like that, you can't look at what games he's attached to and now say like, well, that's the like he is influential.
Yep.
Like he touched too many things.
Way too many
We're
things.
talking Modern Warfare's Apex,
I mean, the big one is
Battlefield.
Modern Warfare for sure.
Like
And like Apex has done incredibly well as
it's
well.
a massive game.
It's massive. It's massive. Globally massive, which is crazy. And that some of that is to do. I mean, I think the game is like, it's not my type of game, but I think it's like a mechanically sound game.
It's a great one of those.
Yeah.
I have played a lot of it. I played over 100 hours. Of it.
COVID
It's
did a
good one of
lot
those.
to like broaden that thing out because everyone was staying home, and because it is so good and mechanically sound, like people just didn't have anything to do and they were just playing fucking Apex.
The most successful surprise launch that's ever happened.
And in areas that are not traditionally known for really finding popularity with shooters, like Japan, for instance. Apex is massive in Japan.
Really?
Huge. Yeah. I mean, there's like multiple pro teams that are all Japanese. China, India, like the list, like Asia in particular, it has really grabbed a lot of people in different parts of the world. And so, yeah, you can't take anything away from the success that he had with Apex. But if we're talking historically, I mean,
No,
we're
sir,
talking
Modern
about
Warfare was a game changer.
it was like I put it up there with Halo in terms of first person shooters and how big of an impact it had on the overall genre of games. Like it was massive. I would generally point to Modern Warfare 2 as being the one that did it, but I mean Modern Warfare was fucking massive for the industry and for Activision and for gaming as a whole.
Also, the campaigns borderline peaked right around then.
Yeah.
Like those campaigns are still not there's not enough story. Like they jump around. Like I have complaints with how they tell their stories because they're too quick. But still, like you can play those and be like, that was a fun action movie, and they were quite good.
Yeah.
And I remember being very excited about it. I remember being bummed because Soap wasn't in the second one.
Mhm.
And you were playing as Tavish or McTavish, right? And then you like go and save the dude. Fucking, we're gonna forget his name too.
I mean, dude,
the Colonel. But
Yeah.
anyway, you save him and he's like Soap, and you're like, I'm Soap. Fuck
yeah,
okay.
yeah, that was
Like,
pretty wild. Like the betrayal at the end, all of that, and then obviously the airport scene in the beginning of Modern Warfare 2 was just so controversial and like, holy fuck! Like we are just like mowing down civilians and like all of that. That was when Call of Duty was still. I don't want to say it. Like I know Call of Duty is still relevant, but like no one like outside of a
It
certain
was it
demographic of
was
people, the shit just doesn't matter.
but that made headlines, and Call of Duty, it really doesn't make headlines anymore. No one's talking about the campaigning.
No,
Like, there's nothing to talk about, like,
no.
because they haven't managed to quite ever match what that did for whatever reason.
Hmm.
And that airport scene, that whole kicker was that they didn't make you shoot the civilians.
Yeah.
That was a choice.
Hmm.
You didn't have to do that.
That's very true. That's
You
very
could walk
true.
through that whole fucking scene and not kill innocent
Yep.
people. And I don't think very many people did that.
The biggest thing that Zampella really kind of pioneered was the ADSing in a shooter, like that proper, like very quick snap down sights shooting mechanic
It's good shit.
that has just exploded over the last 15 years, right? Even we're getting close to 20 years now. Aging myself, but yeah, Modern Warfare 2 came out when I was a senior in high school, I believe, which you're gonna even feel older.
Oh,
But
no.
but
No.
yeah, no, I mean that shit just consumed my life. Yeah, so when we're talking about that, and then like the other thing that I'll say, and like I don't want to like rub salt in a wound here, but like it's pretty relevant to me because there's a video that exists of his death, unfortunately,
Oh, shit.
and it is horrible. But he was driving a Ferrari through I think Santa Monica, and there's like a very popular tunnel where a lot of content creators and people will go and film because a lot of like people will drive supercars through this tunnel, and he just lost control out of a this tunnel going way too fast around a corner and crashed. And there was people on site, and they pulled his body out of the car. It's a horrible video. I don't recommend you watch it,
I don't ever watch that shit.
but
My wife will absolutely watch that shit, and I'm
it
just like, I don't want to see
is
any
it
of that
is
now.
it is horrible. And the only reason why I bring this up, not that there are probably very many listeners that can afford a supercar, myself
Sure.
included, but because I'm in the industry and I drive all sorts of cars all of the time, like you got to be careful with that stuff. And like if you're in that position where you can have something that crazy, like you got to know what you're doing, and flashing off on something that powerful, it can have
Well,
dire horrible consequences. And it's unfortunate that he lost his life kind of
well,
showing off.
even without maybe a supercar, like I have a new electric vehicle, and if I punch it off the line, it's kind of not in control.
It's
But
instantaneous
like
power.
it is a level of power where you're kind of like, oh, I've never quite felt this unsafe.
Right.
This is kind of sketchy.
Yes. And I mean, not to get too in the weeds, like electric cars are kind of in their own
They're fucking
category.
problem.
They're it's not the same as a naturally combustible engine. But when we're talking about supercars like he was driving, the model, I don't remember the model, but they are not made to sustain an impact. I mean, a lot of those cars are made out of, you know, carbon fiber, and not things that are designed to hit into barricades at 90 to 100 miles an hour. And when you do, you're going to have
Good
problems.
lord.
So you have to really know what you're doing. And it's really unfortunate. I don't want to like pour salt in the wounds, but like I watched the video, and I'm just like, dude, like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, it's terrible that he lost his life, but completely preventable thing.
Be
And
smart. Be smart out there.
be smart and
Like,
drive. And like, if you don't know how to drive, don't fucking go that fast.
goddamn.
So we kind of got off
Look.
topic with this, but Battlefield 6.
Hard to not talk about it
Yes.
with
Yes.
his fingerprints all over it.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. I mean, he revitalized this series, and like people that are way deeper into Battlefield than I even am are singing the praises of this thing. And I agree. This thing is fantastic, dude. The gunplay is on point. I just burped into the mic, so I apologize about that. Gunplay's on point. Weapon diversity here is fantastic. It's got those modern touches where you can really kit out a weapon to your preference, and there is a meta that kind of surrounds all of that that I think is really compelling. I think that they did a really good job. I mean, I think there's 60-ish somewhere around there weapons that are in the game, and that's just at the baseline. And since release, they've added like 2 or 3 weapons, and they're going to add more as time goes on. And so like all of that is great, and there's just a lot of diversity in terms of builds and things like that. And I think the maps here are the big criticism of the game when it first came out is there was like some maps that were smaller than you would see in a typical or traditional Battlefield experience.
Mm.
But what I will say is that the maps make sense for the game modes that they are using the maps for, right?
Mm.
And so I don't have a really big issue with it, but at the time when it released, people are like, these maps are not it. And then the first map that they released, uh, people that have been playing this series for decades and decades are like, this is the best map that Battlefield has ever had.
Damn,
And it's a country club, which is
that's
hilarious.
cool.
And you can get into golf carts on the bigger maps and drive across a golf course. And there's just like tanks and helicopters and shit like that. And the central core of the map, if you're
That's some
playing
good shit.
smaller scale game modes, is the country club like building itself. But like there's all this ancillary shit, and it is fantastic. So like the future is bright for the game, and I have had so much fun. I put about 80 or 90 hours into it at this point in time. And I'm not all the I mean, I've got all the weapons, but like really what it boils down to is like the granulary progression with your individual weapons at this point in time. And I think they've done a really good job of making it satisfying, where like a lot of criticisms that people have had of like Call of Duty and Battlefield for that matter is like it just feels way too grindy. And like if you really love a weapon in this game, you just stick with it, and you play games, and you're gonna frag out, you're gonna get kills, and you're getting like tangible upgrades that you could
For
potentially
that
put
weapon.
onto that weapon pretty quickly, right?
Nice.
It doesn't take too terribly long to like max it out and get all of the attachments. And yeah, I'll pop in every so often. Usually it's like a game that we'll talk about later.
Mm, for sure.
Uh I'll pop in if I'm like drunk and it's like, all right, see you guys later. And I'm not
Yeah.
ready to go to bed because I have no responsibilities.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going to go frag out on Battlefield. And that's really filled like a huge gap for me. And I just love this thing, dude. And I'm going to keep up with what's going on with future updates and things like that. I have just really, really enjoyed my time with this thing. And I think that, the future is bright.
I think it's just good that they've kind of righted the ship because they haven't just to have them have a hit like this. It's like, hey, this thing's firing on all cylinders, and
Yeah.
like to an extent, Battlefield's back. Who knows?
Battle-
Who knows when the next one will come out? But like it,
It's going to be a
very good.
while. And I mean, I'm sure that like they're going to release multiple maps and things like that. And like their battle pass system, I think while it is pretty standard or traditional, like they give you enough autonomy within the battle pass to be like, I don't care about these unlocks. I'm going to go over to this place and focus on these unlocks. And then like, if I finish this out, I can go over and finish this out. They're broken up into categories. So
Sure.
like you can get the skins and the weapon attached, like camos and shit like that,
Mm.
charms that you want to in your own kind of way. And I think that that's good. I think it's the right way to do a battle pass if you're going to have it. I mean, the sad reality is that this is always going to be attached to EA, and like EA is EA, and they're gross, and they're probably going
Now
to
on
get
both
much
sides.
grosser as time goes on. But where we're at right now with Battlefield 6, this thing is a fucking powerhouse, and it is the most fun I've had with a Battlefield
Fantastic.
since 3.
So
Here's the thing. I gotta really pee. So can we take one more break?
yeah, we'll do one more break and then we're gonna come talk about some more scotch. We'll do my third and then the final two. All right, we're back. We got and we're working through these whiskeys. I'm interested to see what you think of this one because it's a space side, which is I don't think you dislike space side, but I don't think it is your doesn't excite you. Maybe that's a good way to describe it. In that when you like you like a little more. Sometimes space sides might be a little too basic. Too
Yeah, where I'm at with Speyside is it's got to be the best of the best now. Where it's like, hey, so for instance, my uncle,
mm,
I just saw him over the holidays, and he just spent like a month and a half in China,
mm.
and he got a 21-year-old Glenfiddich from
Damn.
duty free. And it was hilarious because he's like, I brought you a gift.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just this fucking 21-year-old Glenfiddich. And I was like, holy
Jesus.
shit. Like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah. Like, let's pop it open and drink it. And I was like, all right. And so we popped it open and had a glass, and it was great. I mean, it was fantastic. I mean, it was super old. And I was like, how much did you spend on this? And he was like, well, like $400.
Damn.
And I was like, I can't accept this. Like, this is way too much. And he was like, you fucking think I'm keeping this here, Jared? And I was like, well, you told me you were. And he's like, I know I did. I was fucking with you. I'm taking this home with me.
The gift was the I poured you some.
Yeah, no. And he was just like, I figured you would appreciate this.
That's pretty
And then I gave him some really good Campbelltowns, and he was like, I went to Campbelltown when I was in my 30s. And I was like, cool, man. So yeah, like that's my point, is like it's got to be really, really good. If it's just like the mid-range stuff, it's not my go-to.
So this is a Tamdu 18. It's a little stronger, not like what we just had. It's like 46%. I think it's just very clean. I think it's a pretty enjoyable dram. And at the end of the day, I've never had this distillery before. They obviously have a pretty wide offering, but
what's the age statement on this?
18.
An 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's good.
It's very inoffensive. I mean, it's a pretty easy drinker.
I don't love the bottle. It's like skinny at the bottom and then longer at the top.
I have a very specific.
It reminds me of like a liqueur bottle or something like that.
I have a very specific bottle that I like, and that's basically like a Glen Scotia. And that style of bottle is what I pretty much prefer across the board.
Yeah.
Like
anytime you're doing Taylor style type thing.
Yeah, that's all good. Like the Bardstown, I despise it. Like the square.
I
don't like that. That's weird. And then like the short and stubby, like Glen Aleck's a little short and stubby. I don't really like that either.
I like that just for shelf. Putting on a shelf.
Get some variety.
Yeah, these tall bottles are a problem. Like this guy or these guys, you got to put them on the top shelf, at least in my setup. And that doesn't, I don't like that. So I generally like these smaller, stubbier bottles, but yeah, this is fine. I mean, that Glen Aleck, I don't know, but this is more traditional, standard Speyside.
It's I want to get some of the other ones to compare.
Mm-hmm.
Some people really like the 15. I've read some things that some people like the 15 more than the 18. So that's interesting. And I've never dabbled in this distillery at all. So I want to maybe go down this. If I can get we don't have it here. So if I get more, it's going to be like from you to putting in an order or something.
Sure.
But it's I'm glad I've been adding quite a bit of scotch, and I'm just in a hard spot because I think an average scotch is better than an above average bourbon for me, and that's just never going to change. So I have a hard time.
Average scotch is better than an above average bourbon to you?
Yeah. I prefer scotch. So like a scotch that's just like, hey, that's pretty good. And then people will be like, this is a really good bourbon. Usually I'll be like, yeah, I wish I was drinking scotch. Because I since I like scotch so much better than bourbon, like.
Yeah, but you've had the Russell's 15.
Sure.
Nick. And That's one of the
That doesn't
greatest.
really.
That's one of the best whiskeys I've ever
I
put
don't
in
think
my
that
fucking
fits.
gob.
I don't think that fits into the calculation of above average. It's I
It's
don't.
well above
Well,
average.
we didn't say well above. We said above.
Okay, all
You know what I
right.
mean? Like we've had like I at this point I've had a lot of bourbons that you're just like, hey, that's pretty good bourbon,
Hmm.
and I'll be like, yeah, it's pretty good. And but in the back of my head, I'm just like, man, but there's like so many scotches I would prefer over this, just
All
because
right.
of the just think they're more complex.
Yeah, I
I
don't
mean,
know.
they are more
Well, yeah, for
complex.
sure. Not debating that at all.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, like, if you get like a really like average scotch and then you have a really above or yeah, above average bourbon, like, I don't know if I'm like, I would prefer the scotch.
sure.
But that's just me.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. This is a fun game. It's the best hobby because it never ends. The shit just keeps coming out,
It's true.
and it's a good time. My number three. This I could argue this pretty easily for my like game of the year, but it's Silk Song, and I know obviously you fell off of it for like valid reasons, right? Like I can accept all your criticisms as valid. They don't apply to me, like when I played through the game, but I will say like that's fine. Um, but like for some reason, me over here with two kids, you would think that I would be like, Animal Crossing sounds great. Like
Hmm.
no challenge. And for some reason that's not how it's been at all. I've been like, yeah, my life is really hard. And when I play games, I want to bleed from my eyes. And that Silk Song delivered. And it's an absolutely punishing experience with the difficulty level is extremely high. And I like it for that.
Yeah, hold
Which
on.
is
Pause. You're kind of putting me in this like position where it's like I don't want any challenge. Like, come on, it's
that
not. It's not
that's not
Animal
what that's not
Crossing.
what I'm saying. I'm Silksong is very difficult.
It's fucking super hard.
That is a punishing game.
Yes.
That was not you. I was saying that you would expect me in my life to be
Sure.
like, hey, I should play some
Sure.
cozy fucking games.
Sure. Sure.
But no, it's an absolutely punishing games. It's one of the hardest one of these that I've played and fully completed like every single boss. But there was never a minute when I was playing through it that I was just like, I don't know, because I was like, there's no scenario where I don't just continue to beat my head against this. And the reason I think like that only works for certain games if that's what you're looking for. And the reason it works for this game is that the level design in this game is incredible. The mechanics in this game are very good. And the bosses in this game are also incredible. Like they are very unique. They're not like you're gonna have your favorite ones and some that don't hit as well, but across the board, when you look at like just the variety of bosses that are in this thing and the mechanics you have to do to go through each one, you're just like, it's it's an incredible experience, and I put it up as a masterpiece where I'm just like, it's awesome. I don't know when I'm going to walk away from this type of game and say it's better than Silk Song. Like that's a really hard thing to ever to it's borderline impossible for me to imagine. I don't know what that looks like.
Right.
And so where it was just like this has to be so high. Like I said, I could argue it for any spot because when this game came out, there was nothing. There was no penetrating. There was no other game that was possibly going to take any time because it
Hmm.
was only this game
Yeah.
at all moments. And what an experience. I think I did 95% or something. But as far as the bosses, I played all of them and there was like just a little bit of cleanup I could go back and do, but I mean, I'm sure they'll have some DLC that I'll go dabble with. Um, but I don't trust those fuckers because they turn DLCs into whole new games. So I don't know. What?
Yeah. I mean, if we look at the original Hollow Knight, which in my opinion is a better game, uh, they put out a decent amount of
Yeah,
DLC.
they had content.
Um, yeah, and like I want to. I mean, I was pretty vocal about this. Like, I think this is a great game. Like, what I played, I put 30, 40 hours into
Mhm.
this thing. And yeah, I had a good time, but but also a level of just like anger and frustration that I couldn't. get over with this thing. And I think, you know, what I will say about it, from what I played, if we're talking about like a Metroidvania style game, like I
Mhm.
think you're probably right. Like this is by and large the longest Metroidvania, probably. I mean, yeah, I mean, how many hours did you put into it? Like 80,
Probably,
90
yeah,
hours?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was 90 something hours.
That's too much, in my opinion, for this style of game. But I also would say that like it's the best version of this genre. Like even someone that only put, half as amount of time that you did, I think it's the best version of this style of game. But I think what kind of hurt it overall is that it's just this style of game. It's not really doing anything drastically different than the first one. There are some differences. Obviously, I'm not saying it's like one for one,
Sure.
but it is more or less like a formulaic
It it
Metroidvania
didn't
style game.
it didn't change the game.
Right.
And it didn't bring any mechanic into the game that people were like, "Holy shit." Like even like an Ori kind of did when it first came out. You were like, "I can play
Or
something quite this unique."
Ori, I mean, I like heads and tails like this over Ori.
Me too, but like Ori was a unique. Well, maybe it's a bad example, but when like Ori hit,
Sorry, I said that wrong. I like Ori more than this, heads and tails.
shocking. Okay,
Just because like Ori is more of like a story driven thing,
sure.
and the soundtrack in both of the Ori games are just fucking
Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah, top.
But yeah, like it carved out its own kind of niche with those like story elements that you didn't see
Yeah.
a ton of in the Metroidvania formula. And I think Ori is a much more platform driven game where they really drilled down. Like the platforming feels really goddamn good with some of those, specifically in the second one, with some of those abilities that you get in that game. It was just so fantastic to do
Mhm.
the platforming. And like the platforming is fucking fantastic in Silk Song. It's really good. But I just never really found the same level of like complexity with a lot of the platforming in this game. It just was like a lot of like ground pounding, more or less, where it's just like you got to hit ground pound like an object and then ground pound another object, and
Mm.
that didn't feel as compelling to me as Ori did. Right. So I think that's where Ori shines, is the platforming in
Or
particular.
Ori shines in the it creates a flow that is beautiful to watch, and when
Mhm.
you pull it off, and when you're even playing it, you're like, "This is kind of like magical."
Yeah.
Is anyone recording this? Is anyone seeing this?
The
And Silk Song is not quite like that.
Yeah.
There's a level of chaos through it. It doesn't. There's still a dance to it, and it still is. I feel like it's kind of incredible that they have a platforming game that stays the same, and there's two different types of builds, and one goes on a 45-degree angle and one goes straight down, and both can complete the game completely.
That's
That's
cool.
kind of crazy that even
Isn't there
functionally
more
works.
than 2? Isn't there more than 2?
I'm saying there isn't anything more than, well, I mean, generally there's like straight down, and then there's that slanted
Yeah, but I
one.
thought there was one other one. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just the 2.
Um, but either way, you're kind of just like on all these kind of still work, and then you find the ones you like, and gravitate towards it. But it at the end of the day, it's just it has to be so high. I also it's shocking for me because you were higher on Hollow Knight than I was, and at the time when this podcast first started, we talked about Hollow Knight, and I was the Ori fan. And that's at this point you hadn't played Ori yet. It was
Mhm.
later, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm absolutely I'm an Ori guy through and through." And I still absolutely love Ori. But then when for some reason this thing, which is just like my changes in gaming, I guess, in what I want to add difficulty level, this for some reason this thing just like absolutely hooked me in. And I'm just like, I'm gonna fucking beat this challenge, and it's going to be glorious. And was able to get through them all, and some of them absolutely took an insane amount of time. But I'm glad they finally released the game. I'm sure they'll release another one in 8 years, and I'll be like 50. And will I be able to play through?
Yeah, you'll
games at this?
probably be able to. It was an interesting
Uh,
choice. Like it was I mean, I give them credit for making the game they wanted to
I
make,
was just gonna say
and
every
like,
ounce of it feels like exactly what they wanted to do.
but it was pretty divisive, and still is pretty divisive right now. Even now when we're talking about it, midway through January,
I'm
there was a lot of people that really did not like the direction they took, and I am one of them in regards to like the difficulty. It just felt like too much, and like some of it was just frustrating, where it was just like the run backs in this thing just drove me crazy, and I didn't enjoy that aspect of it. It didn't feel good to die to just like cannon fodder enemies, like getting to a boss. And like, again, like that was their choice, and they stuck to it, and they made what they wanted to make. But like, I don't know,
it's a choice.
leading.
It's a choice having the fast travel shows up in Act 3, and you are deep. You are
Yeah,
deep into the game, and that's certainly a choice in this type of game. And I'll say that is absolutely a valid criticism. I talk about that pretty frequently when I talk about these games.
right.
In that, don't the platforming's hard enough. Don't inconvenience me by making me do shit over and over too many times.
Hmm.
They even like I'm more okay with some of the runbacks. Like I'm not absolutely offended by the runbacks in this game, but not being able to fast travel is just like, well, like I'm not gonna. Yeah, I got a new ability. I know I need to go over the like. There's a long fucking ways away. I'm not
Yeah.
going over there.
Well,
Like
this is the thing. I think this is like the most, at least in my mind, the way that I think about this is like, if we're comparing Ori, which is not like a one for one comparison, but Ori is like a fantastic experience. So
mhm,
let's use it like between Ori 1 and 2, like their thought process was like, let's take what made sense with Ori 1 and then just come up with some unique ideas around what made that game great, and uh stick with continuity to a certain extent. And that, I think, is across the board the way that Ori's sequel kind of proved
mhm,
itself out, where Cherry was like very clearly like, let's make this harder. Like, we were not happy with the difficulty level in the first game. Let's make it harder. And I'm not saying like not iterate on certain mechanics and flesh out, platforming or whatever it is, but very clearly, pretty early on in the game, that's clear that they internally were like, that was their thought process with the
it's pretty fucking
sequel,
hard.
was like, let's make it harder. Let's just make it brutally difficult. Whereas the first game, everyone, I mean, a lot of people love, let's just fucking make it balls to the wall difficult.
Mhm.
And like, it didn't resonate with me because of that. But I respect them for making what they wanted to make. So, you know,
Curious, curious what they do.
I,
What was the next thing in 10 like and when I say 8 to 10 years, like that's the serious trajectory, right? Like this is the next if they do another game.
they'll definitely do another game. There's no way that they don't do another game. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe they just are like, this is the studio that does this type of game, and it just gets crazier and
Well, I
crazier.
can't imagine them they're not gonna make I would be blown away if they made anything different. I would think
Right.
that I would be blown away if they even made something that's not in that same universe. I would expect the next one to really be the same type, but it's a long time.
Yeah.
So who knows? I mean, they could say, "Nah, we're gonna do something colorful."
Yeah. I mean,
Like
maybe. Maybe they change the aesthetic, but like,
they probably have the chops to do whatever they want to do, and they have the money to learn how to do whatever they want to do.
right.
So
And we'll find out when you're 50 and I'm mid 40s.
shit, dude. Well, oh man, we're down to the last two.
Nitty gritty.
We're down to the last two, and really the big question is
Our
just
our list is the same.
it's just who
It's the same.
I debated it. I was really going back and forth.
Me too.
and I had a hard time. And then what ended up deciding my list was which one, if I had to pick one to shoot, to kill, to say it didn't come out, and which one do I have to pick? And then so that's how I did. So my number 2 is Clair Obscur, and your number 2 is Clair Obscur?
Yeah.
It's the best RPG that's come out in a long time.
Yeah.
By like a pretty good margin. Like it's not particularly competitive. You put this last year. There's not another RPG that competes against it. You put the year before.
Not the last 10.
The year before is
5
Baldur's
years?
Gate, so people could talk. But
nope.
The game,
not for me at least.
And I had the chance. If you've been following the podcast, I never finished this game, and then over the holidays, this was the one. I knew it was like I had to go back to it. I had to figure it out, and I absolutely did. I played an absolute shitload of this game, and I finished it. I've done everything but Simon. It's like the ultimate boss, and I really
have you fought him yet?
Nope. I have gotten to the abyss, so I believe he's like right in front of me.
Yeah,
but then I haven't even attempted, because I did what I knew I would do once I finished and saw credits. All of the enthusiasm just like weeps out of my soul for a game like this. But I wanted to see the credits. I think the combat system is incredible, and for a turn-based, high-fidelity RPG, it's extremely unique. Having the parry and the counter mechanic that they have in this, people need to steal. We need to bring this into other games, a lot of other games, in a way that I think for a turn. Why not?
Because it's his own thing. I don't want them. I mean, it's inevitable. It's going to happen. People are going to predate this.
I think I think it
sometimes
turn-based RPGs are a hard sell because people don't like it, and this adds a lot more excitement and gives people a lot more to do.
Yeah, it's a Dark Souls of RPGs.
So it's I like it a lot. I mean,
it takes away the reason why it works, in my opinion, is it takes away the mechanical skill to play like Sekiro, for instance, or Eliza P, because you do not have to focus on movement on top of the parries and things like that.
It's just the one button press.
It's static.
Yeah.
It's an RPG, a turn-based RPG, but then implements these parry mechanics that have kind of taken over action games over the last decade.
I'm not saying all RPGs need to somehow. I don't need this in the next Dragon Quest. It would be.
It's not happening.
It would be weird, right?
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, I'm not opposed to it in a. They don't really make turn-based Final Fantasies anymore, but I would not be opposed to it in that type of game.
Well, what about Final Fantasy 13 with parry mechanics?
Yeah, like fucking absolutely, like because
where you deter like based on the speed at which your character gets his action abilities, you can just fucking go at your own pace. That's pretty compelling.
This thing's really fun. It's really fun in that.
Really fun is maybe an understatement.
You have a compelling battle system without the parry and the counter.
Yeah,
you have a great kit. You have great options with like the Luminous and the Pictos that you can make pretty incredible builds that feel broken, and they feel very broken until they don't when you get into the end game, and you're like, oh, I need this build to be broken because these are fucking hard. And it's fantastic. It feels so good to play. The game looks incredible. The voice acting is top notch. Everything about it is really good. And then learning these fights is really enjoyable. And one of the things that makes it great is that it's very easy to restart these matches. There's no runbacks. You were just complaining about runbacks. You die to a boss, you just replay the boss immediately, and you train yourself, and you train, and you'd be like, I'm going to get him, or actually, I'm never going to get him. I got to go back to the workshop, whatever you got to do. The thing is so good. I loved it. And you can, I think pretty much you can do everything with any party composition. Like everyone's going to pick their own on who they end up liking.
Yeah, but there's 3 that are the right choice.
I don't know if that's true.
Mael, Minoko, and Verso is the right choice.
I didn't use Minoko because I used Sael because she literally has a spell. She was 100% support.
Did you get all of Minoko's?
Like 80% of them.
You
but
need like all of them.
I looked at a build and I had all like the main ones, but the reason I ran Sael is that she was 100% support and she can double any unit's next attack. And when you're talking about a Mael, it is a boss ending skill.
Yeah, for sure.
Literally a boss ending skill that you double her attack and you
You're
build
not
up into virtuous, and she just melts bosses. You're like, oh, it was 5 million damage. Cool, awesome, great. Like insane amounts of damage is what I pulled out of. It was all towards Mael. Verso could do a lot of. He was very good, but no one melted like Mael.
Verso is the linchpin of the build that I played, simply because it was like, okay, specifically with like end game bosses, Simon, and there's like a handful of other ones. It's like play perfect. And if you play perfect with a burn counter Verso build, which is
Yeah,
the best build, and you're at S,
you have to play perfect. Yeah,
exactly.
like you.
And that's what I loved about it. And
Yeah,
there's something about it where like I have really kind of lost a lot of steam with like parry mechanics in video games, generally speaking, unless it's done really well. The
sure.
Wukong, done incredibly well. Love it. Fucking Sekiro, the best that's ever done it. Love it. But then you get a lot of these like bottom feeders, in my opinion, where I'm just like, it just doesn't. And like I will say, Liza P, I played a little bit of it just because you love it so much.
Yeah,
And I felt it, where I was just like, okay, I get it. I get it. I just don't know if I've got enough patience or time to just,
sure.
bang my hand against the wall and play this. But with XBED, like that, I would literally just sit in front of my computer when it came out, and I would just die and die and die and die and die and just be so pissed off, but then immediately do the run back and just learn every single little like emotion that the enemy was doing to learn how to parry. And when I got those fights down, it was so fucking satisfying with Verso in particular, because it just does massive, massive damage.
Yep.
And yeah, so like Mael and
He also has a skill that does more damage every time you use it in a fight.
yep.
And it's a pretty effective one.
And then also like one of the most satisfying parts of his build is like multiple hits.
Yep.
So like you can add more than one hit. I think it's three max, but that builds up his counters and gets him higher and higher and higher. And and then Minoko and Mael are just there, just dishing out damage, right? And then you're like the home run hitter is Verso to just finish it off.
Do you know what the Mael build is? So you have that ultimate weapon and you start in virtuous stance.
Yeah.
And she drops Stendhal and it does like millions of damage. It's insane. Right?
Yeah, she's crazy.
And so you have the Pictos that gives you a second turn cheater from one of the super bosses. So you get to go twice.
Mm-hmm.
So first turn, you drop Stendhal and you do so much damage. And then the second turn, you use your skill that takes you down to 1 HP and then puts you back into virtuous stance.
Yeah.
And then you have a Pictos that is attached.
I know what you're
that
talking
gives
about.
you another fucking turn.
Yeah.
And you literally drop Stendhal twice on like turn one. And you're just like, most bosses,
right. Yeah.
just fall before you.
Like Minoko has got some of that too, where you intentionally will put him down to 1 HP and then use a specific, because his whole thing, he basically is like the persona character in this game. And you have like specific personas that like, if you're low on health, will boost damage. And so you can do crazy ass shit with him as well around that. But yeah, that's not usually the way I played. Like, again, my home run hitter was Verso. So
That's
like
cool.
I knew that if I was going to win a fight, because like the hardest fights in this game require you to play perfect. And if I was at S at like pretty much any given time, I knew that I had a fighting chance. If I go down to A on some of the harder fights,
You're in trouble.
it's probably over.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just the parry and like like the iframes and like the parry window in this game is picture perfect. And I think that's my big problem with a lot of parry
They're loosey
games.
goosey.
Some of them just
Yeah.
don't feel right. And it's just like, this sucks. Like I don't like it. And we had like a big disagreement with, I think, Bo Path of the Teal Loader, or it was
No, that was Nine Souls.
Nine Souls. Yeah. Uh, Liza P does the same thing where if you don't parry perfectly, you lose health.
Mm.
And that didn't bother me nearly as much as it did in Nine Souls,
Mm.
because it felt, at least for me personally, like I felt like the parry window was
Tight.
it was tight, but it was like more fine tuned.
Mm-hmm.
And so like it didn't cause me problems in Liza P. And with this, with XBet, it's picture perfect, dude. Like I played on an Xbox controller.
Also, Liza P has the different weapons that some can do a full block. So
True.
and Nine Souls did not.
But
have
at its base,
Yeah.
like when you first start, and I played probably like 10, 15 hours, like you don't have that like at the beginning, and you're just gonna, if you don't perfect parry, you're gonna take damage. But yeah, the combat in XBED, dude, I don't know. I mean, just removing that other barrier, like I don't have to worry about movement. It's just like parry, 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 parry. Watch their movement. There's just something about it that is just so fucking satisfying. On top of like,
it's flashy and good in the way the persona is.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And on top of the fact that like it just feels, everything about it just feels so good. And it just, it's an RPG, like a turn-based RPG. And that's the thing that really, once I kind of wrapped my mind around what they were doing, I was like, I see what you motherfuckers are doing. This is crazy.
It's incredible.
This is crazy. And then on top of that, you've got this fucking story, dude, that, we've got it plastered on the walls in the podcast room. And I think this thing stands up with some of the greatest JRPGs of all time in terms of story. We've got Dragon Quest 11 on the wall over here, and I think that this place goes in directions that were reminiscent of Dragon Quest 11. I think Dragon Quest 11's story maybe trumps it in terms of like how monumental everything feels.
Sure.
But there is like a big point, a turning point in this game where you're just like kind of taken for a loop, and I did not expect it. And when it dawned on me,
I think most people would not expect it.
No.
Like if you hadn't read anything about it, and we're gonna spoil it, and if you want to play the game, you should not be spoiled. You should play it because it's worth understanding and then seeing where you fall on it.
It's just like it sets up this cataclysmic event, and the way that the story is framed is like, we've got to go do this thing. We've got to take care of this. And in the case, it's the paintress. We got to go kill the paintress. This is the end all be all of our existence. And if we don't do this, then it's the end.
Yep.
And that's not really what's going on here.
So, I mean, we have to spoil it. It's our number 2. But it's pretty controversial because without like diving into everything that happens, a lot of what you play is not fully real, or
it's not.
It's
all a simulation.
This is the best Assassin's Creed that's ever been made. But it's
don't drag XBED down those dirty fucking.
I'm just telling you, like the way there is reasons that people couldn't be upset about the turn that this takes, because anytime you come and tell someone after Act 2, and it's a 3-act game, that after Act 2 you just learn that kind of everyone doesn't really exist, but here's how this world works, and you've been imagined by these people, and then some of the people in the real world have come into this painting and they're real kind of, but these other ones are definitely not real. That's always a hard sell, and people can not like that. You can look at it and be like, this kind of sucks in that Lune is not like a real character that, and you've been learning about all their motivations and things like that can always be a tough thing to sell you. Now
Yeah, but it's metaphysical. She is real. It's just it makes you think, right?
She's real, but she has, well, Verso drew her into the world that he believes that he painted, and then everyone came into this world that Verso painted. It's just that I understand if people have complaints about it. I don't have any issues with the general arc of the story. I think it's fun. I think it's cool. I didn't walk away at the after the whole reveal and everything saying this is absolutely incredible, but I think it's cool, and it allows them to make more games. Like, it allows them to very easily make more games, and they can be quite unique games because they've created this ability to paint new worlds that can have any aesthetic that they want, which is super interesting. I really like that whole deal. I actually have a far bigger problem in that um, they clearly Act Three is not. I don't think Act Three is good. I think that I think Act Three is not finished.
I think Act 3 is incredible.
Act 3 is not good. There's no context, and
not story wise.
Well, yes,
but Act 3 is incredible from a gameplay perspective.
Act 3 has a ton of great content.
So saying it's not good is disingenuous.
I'm not done. Act 3 is not good in that they didn't finish the game because they dumped all this shit with no context, and all this half of the things that you end up doing in Act 3, you're like, I'm pretty sure this should have way more lore attached to it.
What do you mean? There's enough story. Lore.
There's not.
SK can fly. That's enough fucking.
No, it's not.
It totally is, dude.
The whole game has a ton of story through 1 and 2, and it all drops off a cliff in 3, but the content doesn't drop off a cliff in 3. What happened in 3 is that they didn't finish the game. They didn't finish the game in that they
don't think that that's accurate.
You literally do every social link up until then, as soon as you can do it, and you get to Act 3, and you have multiple ones to do at the same moment. Literally at the same moment, you're like, hey, Lune, let's talk. Let's like bond. And you're like, great. And you talk to her, and it goes up one level. And then in the same second, you go talk to her again, and it's like, hey, do you want to go up another level? The game's not done. Well, they had to cut shit. No one in their right mind would say the best thing to do with social links is to have 2 in a row that you have to click in through it. They didn't finish the game.
Okay,
they didn't.
Okay. Well, I think you're a little exaggerated with that. Like, you have to think about it through this frame of thinking, right? What takes place through Act 1 and 2 is fantastic. It's incredible. And so why is it this big controversy for you to have Act 3 be more of a cleanup situation? And there's a decent amount of story at the very end when you decide to go and finish the game. Why? I think you're looking at
there's
it.
No direction. I think no direction or context given in Act 3.
No, I think you're fundamentally looking at it through. You're thinking about it the wrong way, in my opinion. You're thinking about, like, Act 3 has to have all of this, connective tissue as far as story goes. And I just don't think that that's true. Like, there is so much story in the first 2 acts, and it goes in places that are crazy in the first 2 acts. So I don't think that it's necessarily required to have a bunch of crazy connecting situations. And yes, like the social, like you called it a social link. It's
whatever you want to call it. It is a social link that levels up.
That maybe is like a little, loaded too much towards the end. But like, I just think that Act 3 is just like, wrap it up. Like, Act 3 is open-ended in a way that the first 2 acts are not, and I think that that is intentional. I don't think that it was, "We didn't finish the game, we didn't have time." I think that that's disingenuous. I think it was a clear, motivation, and whether or not you like that is fine. Like, you can say that you
It's
don't
just
enjoy it, but
it's kind of hard to believe when you go through some of these
no.
towers and there was no direction to the tower where you resolve things with Alicia. There's no direction given to and I think it's pretty important to go do that within the story. I don't think that's side content. I think it's pretty important to go and do that
Which I told you.
and have Mael do that one-on-one. And the fact that the game gives you zero direction or zero idea that hey, you should do that. Like that's
Why
there
is that? I mean, like that.
because it should be
I
part
don't
of it. It should
know.
be part
You
of
don't
the
have to have your hand holded through
I
the
think
whole
I
experience, man.
because there's no reason because you're just like, hey, I can fly. I guess we'll go to the big building over there. Like, and that happens multiple
Stop
times.
fucking
It's-
undermining
it's
SKA flying.
it's-
Nick,
I'm
stop
just-
it.
There's
Like,
no direction given to the end game, like zero direction. As
that's
in,
not even the end game.
it's one of the things that opens up. I consider like all of Act 3 like end game, right? Like because it opens up
But
because
it's not.
because there's no direction. So it's just like, hey,
But
absolutely, there's just nothing given for
I
how
think
this
we just have
is.
like a fundamental disagreement in terms of like what should have happened in Act 3. But my thing is like, dude, we're talking about a story that goes so many different places and is so emotionally connecting through the first 2 chapters, and so much happens, and at the end of chapter 2 with the lion fight and how fucking epic that is, the paintress and all that shit, it's like, for me, I was like, yeah, okay. Like, they tell you pretty early on in chapter 3, it's like, all right, let's go to fucking back to where we started this whole thing and we can finish it up. And it's just them being like, yeah, but you can do whatever you want to do. And did I mention that fucking Eskia can fly?
Oh my god!
So like, it just
It's-
like, I see where you're coming from, but like, the
there
only
is-
thing that I disagree, like saying that they didn't finish it, that is not even close to accurate.
there's
It's
like
just a design choice, man.
it's required. Like, it's just required content, and
It's
there's-
not
and
required
there's-
content.
Mm,
I finished everything, and so I'm on the side of you.
I
as
feel
well.
I feel like you killing Versa's sister in the painting and him being traumatized by it and having multiple story arcs and then about how you guys reconcile. I feel like that is required.
But
content.
also because the curtain comes off, so to speak. And a lot, I mean, it's not necessarily open to interpretation in like the ways that's like maybe Death Stranding is or something like that.
Sure.
But there is still a lot because, and that's my big criticism of the game, is when that curtain comes off and we actually realize what's happening with the people outside of the painting and how they are going through this like cataclysmic event outside of the painting.
Mhm.
I wanted more context to the overarching conflict that was taking place outside of the painting,
Sure.
and why we needed to get to the point that we were at. Like, they do a decent job explaining it, but I don't think that it went far enough.
You get, I mean, it's breadcrumbs. You get
Exactly.
in the
It
grand
just,
scheme of it. You get very little of the outside,
right,
world.
and maybe like that was intentional from the perspective of like we can flesh this out in future games. But that was my big criticism of that reveal, is it was just like, this is really cool and like I like it, but I want more context, and it's just not really there, right? But yeah, dude, like, I don't know, this is just like JRPG 101, and you're not a noob when it comes to JRPGs.
I
Like,
mean, this is more.
this is something that takes place in countless JRPGs.
We
So
didn't fight God, so it's a win.
well, yeah, but what I'm saying is, to say that it's unfinished, I feel
it
completely different about it.
it feels like there was a plan to have more context to these things when I played through it. And
Well, but why would that be?
and well, the best example is that
No, but I'm asking, why
once
would that be? Would they didn't have a
I feel
timeline to finish this game?
no,
Like
I'm
they're an
saying
independent studio. Like
I'm just saying
seems like a clear decision rather than them being like, we couldn't finish it and let's just ship it. Like that's not the way that this took place.
you start Act 3 and you have 8 conversations to have, and they're all social link upgrades.
I get that.
There is no that I will just
I get
focus on that.
That's
There
a
is
bad.
there is no way. I don't believe that if you're drawing it up, that's the way you draw it up. And you're like, well, the best thing we could ever do is at the beginning of Act 3, we're going to do a social link for every character, and you're going to talk to them for 3 minutes for each character, and you're going to answer questions. And then when you're done with that, you're going to go talk to every character again. Maybe. And you're going to level up again, and you're going to do another 3. I'm telling you, that is, no one would draw that up. Like, no one on earth would possibly say this is the way to link it.
I think that's just like a byproduct of like video games. That's that's the way shit works. And like, I mean, you can make an argument.
I was just like,
you can make
they all have 2. Awesome.
You can make an argument that that's not super compelling, and I would definitely agree with you there.
It was just a change from the game. The game had like link and then lore and context.
We need to get
link and then lore and context.
We need to get Danny O'Dwyer on the case and figure it out, which I'm sure that's probably something that he would love to do. But
my complaint, this is my number 2 game, right? Like I'm saying that the only thing that held me back here was like that level there, or that Act 3. I would have preferred a little more direction.
You're crazy, dude. That's fucking nuts. Again,
there's so much content.
This is RPG, JRPG forever has been this way. You get to a point in many JRPGs, and this is the way it works, and that's satisfying. That's an inherently satisfying gameplay.
But I thought the French would do better. I thought the French would do better by us.
Okay, but like it doesn't take away from. Like, yes, maybe
I like the story. I like all the comments.
Maybe you want more story or context. And like I said, there are certain elements of the story that I would prefer a little bit more context into. But like, you get the airship, you get the fucking dragon, you get Eskia that flies. You fly in his soft little belly.
It's very funny.
Like this is just the way this shit works, right? And obviously they were super reverent to games that they loved playing, and so like this is just the way that RPGs work, man. I mean,
I gotta go play more RPGs.
What do you mean you gotta go play more? Come on, dude. Like there is a point in massive grand adventure JRPGs where this shit happens. And for you to be like, I just need like more story or context around this stuff is kind of fair. I get it, but like maybe you feel that way because
some of them weren't just like, I understand that end game bosses exist and they may not have a ton of story. Mm-hmm. It's just after I went through some of these things, I was like, this kind of feels like pretty meaty and like it should have had more.
Maybe you feel that way because you like the story.
Well, I do like the story. And I was like
as much as you did.
The Alicia Tower, like specifically, is the one that was just like, this is required content. I don't understand.
All right.
Like it feels like required content. And when you get to Act 3, like they open up and they make the decision to say, hey, you can just go finish the game right now. And I think they maybe shouldn't have said you can just go finish the game right now. I think they maybe should have had 6 things you can do, and 3 of them are required because you need to check a couple boxes.
Right.
It's absolutely weird if you play through this game, get to Act 3, and then just go finish. Like that makes no sense.
Well, and also I planted the seed that you should not do that. So like you're...
Well, I play these games, like it's just like I do the main story.
Well, you would have done it regardless.
I always do
whether
the main story last.
Yeah, you would have done it regardless of whether or not I told you. I know that you would have done that, but I think my text message was literally like, I feel like, and I maybe I should have clarified for you. God forbid. But I was like, I feel like chapter 3 stuff is borderline required and none of it is required. But what I meant was like some of the best fights in the game are
Yep.
in that portion of the game when you get the ability to just like freely roam around the map.
There's some good shit.
It's really good fights, right? And that's what I meant. But like, I mean, a good example, and I know you're not a big fan of this game. I'm a bigger fan, but like Final Fantasy 15, right?
Mhm.
Whether or not you love like the overarching story and things like that, the road trip bro dynamic,
Mhm.
there is a point in that game where it's just like your car just flies now, and we're gonna fucking kind of like, you know, the wheels are coming off, so to speak,
Mhm.
figuratively and literally.
Literally.
And then it's just like, and some of the most compelling, interesting stuff, like the I can't remember the name of the dungeon where it completely changes and
Yeah.
it's like a 2D version. Like I know, and this is why I'm bringing it up, is because I think you like the story so much that you want more context because the story is so good. But like, compare it to that. Like, there wasn't like some big reveal. Like, why have I been playing this game in a three-dimensional plane and now I'm playing this in a 2D
Well,
2D plane? It just is a cool thing that, in my opinion, accentuates and elevates the overall experience because they had the wherewithal to be like, we're gonna put some cool ass shit into here.
the problem is that Claire Obscure was using characters. You're just like, why? Yeah, I do want to have the closure on this character. She's been in through this whole thing,
Yeah, but some
and
of
now
them
she's
just,
sidelined to like this end, and
but
and that's where it just makes
they
sense.
just don't. It does make sense because they just aren't real and they don't exist. They're a figment of
Well,
someone's
At
imagination.
least it does, but like,
Yeah, but a lot of them do
yeah,
not. And that's the point, right?
it's
Is like they just aren't like you build up these bonds with these characters because it's so good, but at the end of the day, they just don't fucking exist. They're nothing, dude.
it's crazy. As much as I'd love to go to the number one game, we have to do another break. So this will be like, I guess, a record. It'll be like 4 breaks, and then we'll do our last game of the year.
Yeah, oh,
All
it's gonna be
right.
good.
All right, we are back. We have a record. This is probably the longest show we've ever done, and it's definitely the most bathroom breaks. Maybe the most bottles of whiskey on a video show. We had more when Dan was here, but that was not video.
Yeah.
Um, so here we are, and I didn't expect us to get here. When I was thinking about my game of the year and I was going back and forth, I was like, man, in my head, I was like, Jared's gonna really push back if I put this thing at number one. This was like a month ago when I
Mhm.
was thinking about it because I was like,
Mhm.
I am pretty sure he's gonna have Claire Obscura at number one. And then at the end of the day, I was like, "This is no fucking way. I gotta do it." So I put Arc Raiders at number one, and
Hold
then you
on.
fucking put Arc Raiders at number one.
No, I didn't.
What'd you put at number one?
Kirby's Air Riders.
Perfect. Absolutely.
No,
Let's
I
do
put Arc Raiders at number one.
it. It's I it's the lead in is there's no story, or any story is immediately skipped in this game.
There's story.
Yeah.
I
But
couldn't tell you what what it is. Yeah.
it's whatever. It's a um, you're jacking in. You're going into a big open world. You can play solo. You can you go get your gear, and you gotta get it out. It is very similar to a Tarkov if you're just wanting to understand how this thing functions. And in my opinion, it's like the greatest multiplayer experience since like Overwatch for me, because I'm obsessed. And I think a lot of us are obsessed because I've been playing with you almost every night. And we've been playing with Dan. He joins us pretty frequently. And the thing that it's got a good loop. The loop of this, going out, you find blueprints to craft great gear, you find good gear, you kill other people, you take their gear, you have quests that you're working towards. That is so fucking enjoyable. They've just created so somehow they've created a loop that just keeps you coming back. And that is a loop that exists when you're playing solo. And then what takes this game to the next level is when I get online with Jared, or when we do a trio and like Dan joins, and you're just the dynamic encounters that we have in some of our fights. One, or either they can be hilarious or they can be very fulfilling in that we're like, we fucked them up and this was like, we played it perfectly, or the opposite, and it can be like, wow, we got steamrolled, like we absolutely fucked up. But you can't duplicate what happens when we're out there getting into these PvP fights, and every single one is unique and every single one just brings you back for more, and it's just a fucking drug. An absolute drug.
Yeah. So because of the amount of time that it took us to actually record this podcast, at the time
Just kept climbing.
we planned to record this, it was absolutely XBet 33. I think it's a generational RPG, and I can't say enough good things about it. And it was just like week by week, I was like XBet, 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 XBet. And then I just kept on looking at my hour counter of Arc Raiders. And I was like, oh, I'm at 100 hours. Oh, I'm at 150 hours. Oh, I'm at 200 hours. And now I'm at almost 250 hours in Arc Raiders. And
At a certain point, you're just like, doesn't that almost answer it? Like
there is, and I talked. Dan and I played last night together, and I talked to him about this exact thing that you just said. I was like, there has not been a multiplayer centric game that has hooked me and captured my attention outside of Overwatch and Destiny 2.
Yeah.
And those are the two that, and Destiny 2, like weirdly for me, was like fairly recent, where I put like 400 hours into that game. But when we're talking about like strictly you're mostly playing with your friends, it's Overwatch, and it's not close. And I cannot think of another multiplayer experience since Overwatch that I've had as much for fun playing with my friends, and just all of the things that go into this game. I don't know, dude. This thing is a monster. It is a monster. And I mean, the numbers proof it out, right? Like, they sold 11 million copies of this thing, which is insane. It's $40 a pop, but you do the math. That is a sizable amount of money that this relatively small studio that outside of Arc Raiders, they have the finals, which apparently is just blowing up as well. Not because of Arc Raiders' success, maybe to a certain extent, but there's a diehard fan base for that thing.
The game's fun.
It is a lot of fun, and they've done a lot of really cool things since release. It's nuts what this studio has done with just 2 games under their belt, and the way that this thing has just taken over everything. And it was like, there was a lot of arguments where it was like, this thing's doing good, but it's gonna fall off, and we're just waiting for it to fall off, and it's not gonna do as good as Fortnite. It's not gonna do as good as like these big games. It can't hold the candle to Call of Duty. All of these arguments, and it's just like, dude, this thing is still here.
Battlefield has dropped. Like, I saw some charts where it was just like Battlefield numbers have dropped when you were comparing them to like what Arc Raiders has sustained. You're just like, well, what's going on here? Right. At a certain point, it's just like, why? It doesn't seem to be going away, which makes sense, as we are still like fully obsessed, fully invested. Like, this week we've been playing a ton, but even before that, it was like a gear up all week, save up all your shit, build, play, do a lot of solos during the week is what I was doing. And then Friday, Saturday, get on with you and Dan and burn all your stuff. Like, you've been building to this point and have just an insane amount of fun. And we've had such a arc on our side because we started playing and we were like, this game's fun. And then you and I went out and did some duos and did not do well. Multiple nights.
We got our fucking asses
Got
kicked.
just kind of melted. And I remember you specifically being like, I think we suck at this game. And maybe we did. And then something changed because then in the weeks past that, especially when you and I were playing, I don't think we figured out trios quite right. But you and I had a run of duos where we were like, oh yeah, we are now melting and doing really well. And then it's even flipped back. And like the last few times you and I have, it's been like hit and miss. And it's so much fun to like go through these encounters, fuck with these people, try to get out and try to succeed, and then like the next day think about what you did wrong, because you're just like, man, we had the defensible position. How in the hell did we lose? So you're sitting there trying to think about it, and I'm just like, all right, we gotta like rethink how to defend this spot. And it's the best. It's so fucking good. It's like all I want to play. It's a problem that we do a podcast because I got to be like, oh shit, now we're back to the normal thing. I gotta like figure something else into the mix.
We've got a little bit of time. There's
There's
not
nothing
much
new coming out.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a new Trails game that ships this week, but like I'm probably not going to touch that
Yeah.
ever. But it's just
Sure.
it's just that I've got to have all of the Trails games
Sure.
because they generally appreciate in value.
It's your retirement fund.
And then we've got Resident Evil next month. So we've got a solid like I mean, and Resident Evil is late February. I think it's like February
just
like 16th or something like that.
Neo 3 come out? If that
Maybe maybe that's
I'm pretty sure it's February.
Is it February?
I think so.
So yeah, we've got some time to continue to put into this without having anything else like take our attention away from it. But yeah, this thing is just a drug, dude. It is. They have done it. They have figured out the formula when it comes to an extraction shooter. Where up until this point, you know, there are obviously other extraction shooters out on the market. But it's like, can you play this game casually and have a good time? Yes.
Yeah.
Can you play Tarkov casually and have a good time? Absolutely not. You know what I mean? I mean, maybe you could if you just want to do like PvE servers and do all that stuff. Sure, I guess so. But if you really want to get like fully immersed into it, like it doesn't require an enormous amount of time to have a good time with this thing, which I think is the big selling point for this thing. And then secondarily, I just think that they've done everything right. The map design, with the exception of Salamantis, is really pretty digestible, and the maps are not super.
I don't think Stellamontis is bad, but Stellamontis is a problem to learn.
So the static map is a problem on Stellamontis, in my opinion, because it with the other maps, it's like you've got maybe 6 or 7 points of interest on the map, and it's like, okay, we can go over here and we set a ping on it and we just run over there, right? It's very digestible. Stella is a multi-layered, pretty much exclusively indoor map, and the static map specifically, needs to
it's hard to follow.
It's hard to like traverse that area. And
That
like I've
makes
been
sense.
playing a lot of Stellamontis recently to kind of learn it, and I've gotten a lot better, but there are still times on Stella where I'm like, I don't know where I'm going, and then I pull up my map and I'm like,
I still don't know.
and
where
if
I'm
you
going.
look at the map, you're like, well, there's this corridor here that should connect and it doesn't, and you're just like, where the fuck am I going, dude?
Yeah, that's
and
fair.
That's like 230 hours in, you know? And like, I think that, I don't know, there needs to be some sort of improvement there. I just don't think that it works that well. But yeah, level design overall is fantastic. I think this game looks great, and that helps. You know, it's not a AAA developer that's doing this, but they clearly were like, okay, what do we need to do to make this game succeed. And it's like, well, we need this to be like visually impressive. And I think that it's incredibly visually impressive.
Yeah, it looked good. It looks really good.
And then, couple that with the AI enemies in this game where they run the gamut of like a nuisance or slightly inconvenient, um, to like, oh my God, this is a raid ending experience or encounter, depending on what you're running into. And the thing that is most interesting about it is like, it's not necessarily even the big arcs, what they're called, the robots on the map, that are going to cause you the most problems. Like
A
sometimes,
Rocketeer finds you in a field and you are in a lot of trouble.
yeah, you're fucked.
An enormous amount
Well,
of
the
trouble.
Rocketeer, they put out some statistics.
He kills everyone.
He's the most deadly arc in the game.
He's a motherfucker.
But I'm just saying, like, even if it's all RNG based of like the packs of
Sure.
like wasps and hornets. If you run into
they
a
can get you.
group of like 3 wasps and they find you, you're probably in trouble.
If don't
Unless you have
anvil.
like a defensible position. Even if you have an anvil, like there's 3 of them and they're
Yeah.
all shooting their little stun guns at you,
Yeah.
like you can be in a lot of trouble. So that, coupled with the fact that you always have to worry about the potential of another group of players, like real life players coming in and fucking you up, is super compelling. And then on top of that, they've found a way, which I think is the biggest thing for me, is they found a way to streamline loot and loot management without dumbing it down to a point where it's just kind of inconsequential. When you get into like the deeper ends of the waters, like there are certain items that like you find in raid and you're like, this is useless to me in raid, but if I take it back to Speranza, which is the hub world, it's going to give me more mats
Sure.
than it would if I deconstructed it in raid. And that's like the higher level knowledge of the game. And then couple that with just pitch perfect shooting and movement. You've got a lot of options in your kit to kind of move around the world as your character when you do encounter real life players. If you're going to PvP, it's fucking nuts. It's nuts. And there are definitely things that they need to improve and make better.
With any game that we play, especially when you play a game this much, when you invest this much time, is similar to when you and I were playing hundreds of hours of Overwatch every night, just logging in. All we did was complain about what needed to be fixed because you were playing so much of it. You're just like, well, I have seen it. I understand what needs to change, and I hope that they, over this year they fix a lot of our concerns, because I'm here and I'm just like, this thing feels like if there's a chance for a multiplayer game to stick, which has been very difficult in the last 10 years for games to actually compete with like a Fortnite and stuff. It just feels like maybe this has a chance because of what it's doing and what it's doing right. And clearly it's got the player base. So can it keep it? And can it keep iterating on it?
I don't think that there's even a question if it's a chance. I think that that's where games media and like the overarching people that are like content creators and things like that play like Warzone or whatever it is, there has been this kind of like gatekeeping in terms of like, this thing is cool but it's never going to resonate and have staying power. And we're talking about something that I think is going to rival the PUBG. I know PUBG is not what it once was,
but what happened with it? How big?
What happened with PUBG? What happened with Fortnite? What happened with Warzone? All of these games that are usually like the pillars of maybe not like gamers like we are, but like more casual players that just play one game. this thing is taking over, dude, and the numbers prove that out.
I mean, this is the first multiplayer game I think that has lived in our number one since we started this podcast, and certainly that we both agreed on.
Yeah.
Like a strictly multiplayer game that we're just like, no, this is the game of the year, and this is the thing that people should go play if this floats your boat. If you're not into PvP, then you're gonna have a problem because
Well,
it's like
unless you're just really friendly.
I don't
Because they're
I don't think the game. I don't think what we say is the best parts of the game. I think that that's a lesser experience if that's what you end up going and playing.
I agree with that, but what I'm saying, like, just to counter your previous statement, is like I mean, explicitly embarked developers have said that there is aggression based matchmaking in
Yeah.
this game, and I figured that out yesterday
You can
where
get into
I
some
just
lobbies
tested it
where-
out.
Yeah.
No, I tested it out where I ran free kits, and if someone shot at me because I was free kitting,
Hmm.
I would just let them kill me. And I did that for probably 6 or 7 raids.
And it worked.
And then I
out.
got into the friendliest fucking instances you could possibly imagine, where no one's going to shoot you and you can team up and you can fight the arcs. And so, like, when we talked about this originally, it was like, yeah, if you remove PvP, it's a fundamentally watered down experience. And I agree
Well,
I agree
I
with
think
that.
that's true.
It is true. It's true. But the counter to that for like a lot of people is like, there's always going to be like that random asshole
Sure.
that's going to shoot you and kill you. And then it's almost like when you get to that lower level where nobody's fighting everyone, and then there's that random dude that's just like, I'm just going to kill this guy. All right, well, have fun with the aggressive lobbies, you
Sure.
asshole. You just shot me. And you just stay down with the friendly people and you loot to your heart's content. And you're not really concerned about PvP ever. Like, dude, I played for like 6 hours last night or yesterday. No fights.
That's
Like,
crazy.
just running into
Fucking
people
crazy.
and everyone's just like, "What's up, dude? How's it going? You know, oh, what's up? You know." And like,
Is your mom well?
if there's something about that that's cool. Like,
Sure.
I had a situation where I had a space tower control key, which is a purple key, and you can
Mhm.
get good loot up there. And as I was running to the door, I see a player to my right, and I've got my gun out. And
Yeah.
he's got his gun out, and I'm like, "What's up, dude?" And he's like, "Hey," and I'm like, "What are you looking to do?" And he was like, "Not much. I'm just like kind of like perusing, like seeing if there's anything cool." And I was like, "Well, I've got this key. Do you want to go up there with me?" And he was straight up like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "Yeah, dude." And I just opened the door and we zipped up to this area that's got really good loot, and we loot around, and we're not talking while we're looting.
Sure.
We're just looting everything. And then he comes up to me and he's like, "Dude, I got some pretty good stuff."
I feel
and,
bad.
and I was like, "All right." And he was like, "Ooh, do you want me to tell you what I got?" And I was like, "Yeah, like, tell me."
Are you gonna murder me?
So he told me, and then he was like, "Do you want me to drop it all?" And I was
Oh my
like,
God.
"No, dude, I don't care." And he was like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "No, I really don't care.
It's all your stuff.
It's all your stuff, dude." And he was just like, "I just feel bad because it's your key." And I was like, "What's fucking happening right now?" And he was just like, "Yeah, like, I'll drop anything. Like, are you sure? I'll drop it all if you don't want, like, if you want it all." And I was like, "No, dude, like, take what you want." And he just was like, "Thank you so much." And then he just left. And
That's great.
that, like, that's, you know, it's there for you if that's what you want. So I've
Yeah.
experienced it all, like
and
heavy,
well,
sweaty PvP,
the
and then just the friendliest fucking lobbies that you could possibly imagine.
the situational encounters are great because I have not been in the friendly lobbies because I will yeah, I'm out there, I will defend myself, right? So there's no way that I've experienced just the friendly lobbies. But I told you about this the other night. But I went down into the train station. I was trying to extract. I was ready to go. I had my stuff, and I got down there, and the train had already been called, and there were two people down there, and there was one dude that was had his gun unequipped, and he was just walking around, and he was just like, "Hello, welcome to the train station. Rest easy. Do not worry. You can just put your gun away. I will make sure that you get out of here safely. I'm here to make sure that you will survive." And he's just doing a whole spiel. And he does the whole thing. The train shows up. I get on, and another guy gets on, and we leave. He doesn't get on. He's still out there. He's just like, "Welcome all." And you're like, what the fuck is this happening here? Like,
Yeah.
it's very funny.
Yeah.
Because presumably, if someone would have started shit, he would have like defended us.
Yeah.
Yes.
If I have my choice, if I'm running solo, I don't want the friendliest of friendly lobbies, which like if you're concerned about getting your project, or not your project, but your trials, which are your weekly objectives,
Those suck to be PvP.
run, just die 6 or 7 times in Stellamontis. Don't fight.
Oh.
Don't bring anything good in. And then go and run the project. Or God, I keep on saying the project, the trials.
Yeah.
You could argue that kind of like
Breaks it.
invalidates the whole entire experience. But I want there's a soccer ball charm that I want desperately that goes on your backpack.
From the trials?
Yes. And I got to get to a certain point.
Oh, no.
And so like, and I also just generally wanted to test the aggression based matchmaking.
Sure.
And it's a fucking thing. And like, so all of these like mingy whiners, like, I think it's disingenuous because this is not a new thing. This has existed since the game came out. But as
so
we
if you
played,
were actually a PvE dude, you wouldn't be having this fucking problem.
you would not run into it. But the thing about it is that it seems like people are like, oh, like everybody wants to PvP me. And it's like, yeah, no one wants to PvP you if you are just the friendliest motherfucker you can possibly imagine. And that is cool. And I like that. So like that invalidates all of the arguments of like, this game is not designed to be a PvP game that a lot of people were arguing like when this thing came out. Right. But dude, it's just so compelling. Like there's just so many good things that they have already done. And this is the beginning. This is the beginning. We just got an announcement from the devs that
couple maps,
2 to 3 maps in 2026. It's very compelling to hear those types of things.
It's hard to explain exactly how much fun the PvP is when you're playing with friends. And just
PvP is so much fun,
and just how it goes down, because it's every time it's unique, and every time you have either something funny happen or you feel really good about it, or you're just like, it's so incredible.
How did we die? Or we just shit on this team.
Like,
yeah,
absolutely. Or like, why were they so dumb? We just like we fucked them up so badly. Like, so badly, and that always feels good because then you like steal all their shit.
Yeah, to speak on that, last night Dan and I were playing duos, and we were in pretty friendly lobbies. It was pretty friendly, and we ran into a team, and Dan is not convinced, but I'm pretty sure that it was the same team we encountered. So we encountered a team, and they were like, "Are you friendly?" And we were like, we were trying to we had keys, so we were trying to get to key doors, and we're like, yeah, dude, we're good. And then we went to one key door, and I'm pretty sure it was open. And then we were like, all right, we got to figure out how to get to this other key door. And we came back around, and I'm pretty sure it was the same team. Dan doesn't think that it was, but we got into like a scuffle with a shredder on Stellamontis, which are incredibly terrifying arcs that shoot shotgun shells like
maybe
all around their perimeter. And it doesn't matter even if you got a heavy shield, it's gonna fuck you up if you're not behind cover. And during this situation, someone started taking pot shots at us. And Dan was like, I'm getting shot. And I ran into a door and healed up, and Dan like went into his own corner and started healing. And there is like these basically like scissor lifts,
Mm.
hydraulic scissor lifts that will go up and down
Very slowly.
very slowly. Um, and Dan is like, they're shooting me, actively shooting me. And I was like behind a door and I just popped the door open and they didn't realize I was behind them. And there was two of them just shooting at Dan. So I had a shotgun, like high level shotgun with all the attachments, all the
All the
bells and
works.
whistles. And I just blasted both of them for the back and knocked both of them.
Mm.
And they're down.
Damn. You
And
knocked both.
yeah. And then Dan comes out and he's like, yeah, nice. That's good. And the scissor lift had went back up somehow.
Sure.
And these guys are just talking so much shit. They're just like assholes. They're just like, fuck you. You guys are
Yeah.
bitches. And for whatever reason, I think we were like healing up and like, because I wasn't fully healing up and we were healed up and we were dealing with the shredder as well. But the shredder had like de-aggroed us. And so we were healing and these guys, we hadn't completely dropped them. And the scissor lift starts coming down again. And I'm just standing there. I'm fully topped up and we're in friendly lobbies, I think.
Mm.
So I'm just standing watching the scissor lift like slowly coming down. And the dude that was on the scissor lift just threw a flame grenade right in my face. And it
Nice.
lit me up. And the dudes that were down were like, you're a dumb fuck. You're a stationary target. You just stood there and let him fucking hit you with a flame grenade. And Dan and I are like at the ready. I like roll and I'm on fire. And the guy jumps off the scissor lift and tries to shoot me. And I start blasting him and Dan starts blasting him. We kill him. And this guy's that we killed prior, I'm like, what are you talking shit for? We fucking murked your guys. You like, what are you talking about? We killed the shit out of you and your friend. Talk some more shit in the lobby, bitch. Like, get out of here. So it's just like that kind of dynamic is just
It's good shit.
it's just every single time that you play, you're gonna have a different experience. And that's why it's so fucking good,
That's why we're
man.
hooked on it. It's a drug. It's a drug.
Please,
and
everyone,
it's like,
if you haven't played it, please go play it. Like
yeah.
it might not be for you, you know. You might not enjoy it, but god damn, this thing is it's so good. Like it's an all-time great in my opinion, and it's gonna be hard to top it. Like I mean,
for multiplayer games, it's hard to seeing it happen. But obviously, Marathon comes out next year, so everything could get turned on its end.
I'm gonna play Marathon,
Yeah,
and
for sure.
I'm gonna give it the benefit of the
play it.
doubt. I am very excited about like bungee shooting because
Mhm.
bungee shooting it's
good
fucking
shooting.
really good. And so it's like, what have you
See?
done in 6 months to make
They've
the rest of this game compelling?
I think they've made the art they didn't make the first time.
What if we?
I
What if
think they-
like? What if this is the biggest like switch?
yeah,
Where
it's
it's like,
amazing.
oh my god, bungee
This is
shooting, bungee shooting is really good. And I would say like Arc Raiders, like it doesn't make sense for third person in my opinion,
that's not true.
or first person, I should say.
Yep.
It doesn't make sense for first person just
Yeah.
because there's like a lot of flying enemies. So you'd be like moving your mouse up or
I love
moving
the
your
third-
stick up.
I
and,
love
like,
third
looking up.
person, so I'm super into it. I know like you
I-
generally like first person, but like I love third person. So like this game, I'm just like fuck yeah.
The
When
only
PUBG came out, I was like fantastic, and then they were like we're releasing first person mode. I was like, why would you do that?
and then
Why would you-
everyone played first person.
Yeah.
Because first person, well, the
can
only
cheat.
you can't cheat, but
That's cheating.
there's things
mean,
that you
it's-
can do in Arc Raiders that you could not do in first person, and sometimes that feels bad.
You can look around corners. You can look around corners that you shouldn't be able to look around, and that's how third person works. Like everyone can do it, so it's not cheating. It's
No,
just
I'm not
that-
saying it's cheating. I just don't think that it doesn't feel great when like if you apply a first person perspective in a lot of situations where you go into a room and you just get mowed down
Mm.
and you're like, oh god, they were just peeking the corner and they didn't expose themselves. They just see you around the corner.
Sure.
And that's not a thing in first person, and that feels bad. Where in a first person environment, it's like that's going to be as much of a surprise to them as it is to us. And that is where it's just like when we're talking about like an extraction shooter where loot is very at a premium, obviously,
Mhm.
it feels bad sometimes, but like at the same time, it works for this game. And I don't think
I
that
think
it
so.
would work if it was first person.
No, not with all the enemies. There's too much going on.
Right.
There's too much going on the screen. I think that's what a show. That's 2025. It's coming a few weeks late. Maybe I'm curious to see the final edit, but perhaps the longest show we've ever done.
What are we at?
Almost 4 hours, but there's breaks. So
We've probably done some like specials that maybe are longer
maybe we
with
will.
Dan and
We will see, but at the end of the day, I think 2025 was a pretty good year. I think the variety in our list like speaks for itself, in that we cover pretty much everything, and that's cool. I like seeing that. I like being able to look at the list and being like, man, there's a lot of genres here that are checked, and you're really covering the bases. And like Civ dropped the ball, but that was it. Civ was supposed to be here. It was
that is
supposed to be on the
not
list.
everything that dropped the ball. There is fucking uh City of the Wolves that is a game that has Cristiano Ronaldo in it that also dropped the ball. There are a number of games that dropped the ball.
Rematch could have been here for a sports game. We didn't get that.
Rematch is not bad.
We didn't make.
And
Our
I would
top
just
10s,
rather
but,
fucking play Rocket League.
It's great to be back. It's been a long time since we have recorded, but
I like talking about video games with you, Nick.
That's gonna do it. That is the Game of the Year show for 2025. We'll be back in a couple weeks, and we will be talking about presumably new or not new games.
We'll talk about
we will find something.
one game.
We'll find something
that I've been struggling to finish.
We'll be talking about. Take it easy, guys.